behind the microphone today.
I just want to point out that has nothing to do with my voice sounding this way. It sounds this way because of snot. Thank you very much. Take another bite of that wonderful lunch sandwich.
I walked in and said, time to do the show. And Lonzo says, whatever. Love it. Love it.
You know, I got 3 hours and then a 2-hour show tomorrow, and I'm on vacation. And what am I going to do? I'll probably be sick the entire be in bed. But, you know.
Lonzo schedules his vacation, gets punched in the face by allergies, is going to sleep all 5 days of it next week, and then show back up next Monday saying he's ready for a vacation.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly healthy. You know, when right as Sunday hits, suddenly the stuff will be gone.
Let's talk sports. 844-GSP, ESPN, 844-477-3776. Email us, Rob Brown at ESPNUpstate.com, Rob Brown at ESPNUpstate.com. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show. You can tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on Word, at Lonzo on Word, and at ESPN Upstate. We'll get you to everybody. So if you want to be a part of the show, and the English Market text line's open too, 71307. 71307 is the number. Can I make a 1-minute complaint about clickbait articles? I get into the office this morning, and I do my show prep the night before. The majority of my show prep's done the night before. So usually when I come in the morning, it's like, do the work I got to do. And then the last, hour before we go on air is just kind of cleaning up the show prep. All right, this changed. I feel differently about that. So I'm going to change that take out, et cetera, et cetera. And I get in this morning and I'm going through a very popular sports news and info website. And as I get onto the website, I have it set up to where any breaking news about the Panthers, the Gamecocks, the Tigers, the Braves, it all goes to the top of the algorithm. And there's a website that has been amalgamated for me to the top of the website. And the headline says, are the Panthers interested in trading for Deshaun Watson? Reports say they may be. Click here to see the latest. And I'm like, well, there's got to be something. They can't justify writing that article if there's not something, right? And I click on the link, and the first sentence of the article, Lonzo, is, quote, the Carolina Panthers have not been involved in any recent trade talks for Deshaun Watson, according to multiple sources.
Clickbait is an art form, and they got you.
That's like...
It's also a lot.
Technically, yeah, right? Well, no, not really. Well, yeah, I guess so, because they say report. It did say report. Let me see. Let me pull up the exact headline, if I can find it again. I believe it said reports say that they may be, which I guess all you got to do is find one guy, like just one guy who says that that's true.
Yeah, some guy walked in the room and shoulder shrugged. Yep, see? See?
I don't know, man. It was frustrating. All right, let's talk sports.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch!
Who's the most outspoken? What's the most outspoken that guy in sports? I think it's guy who hates baseball. I've got two guys on my Facebook timeline that hate baseball. They just say baseball is crazy boring. And I got to tell you, despite the fact that the ALCS has been great, Game 6 at Houston tonight, despite the fact that the NLCS has been great, the Bravos drop one last night. That's going to be item number 1 we're going to get to in a second. Despite that these have been wildly entertaining baseball games, he asked earlier If you've watched more than 10 MLB games this year, do sleep machines just not work for you?
I would just like to point out that I did not post that. That
No, it
was
was not
not
Alonzo.
That was not me.
It was not Alonzo. I don't know, man. Like, why is it that baseball guys or non-baseball guys love to dump on those of us that love baseball? I don't get it. Most outspoken people in sports. All right, it's the lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworkers, or the dog. After game 4, Rob Brown was on the ledge as a Braves fan. I've seen this song and dance play out. And then game 5, the Bravos go out and demolish the Dodgers. And I said yesterday, guys, I'm off the ledge. I'm back. Everything's great. And now, after last night's demolition job and an 11-2 rout by the LA Dodgers, guess where I am, kids? Right back on the ledge. You know why? Here's why, Alonzo. Last year, the Braves and the Dodgers met in the National League Championship Series. Game 1, Braves. Game 2, Braves. Game 3, Dodgers. Game 4, Braves. 3-1 lead. Then what happened? 3 straight Dodgers wins to come back from a 3-1 deficit. So Braves, Dodgers, Braves, Dodgers, Dodgers, Dodgers. 2021 NLCS. Braves, Dodgers, Braves, Dodgers. I bet Lonzo earlier in the week that the Dodgers win this series in Game 7.
It's going to cost me $1, it looks like.
Welcome, buddy. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you. This is what happens to this team in the postseason.
Well, maybe this is a different Braves team. Maybe they're not in their head thinking, here we go again. Maybe this year they're going to come out and in this next game just destroy the other team and move on to the World Series. Maybe that could happen.
Maybe. Freddie Freeman in his post-game presser started talking. He said, hey, look, we know the narrative. We've heard the narrative. Y'all been parroting the narrative to us this whole time. We're not afraid of the narrative. We're going to stare the narrative in the face and we're going to slug it past, which is great. But that's not how it's not how it works. You don't just say, oh, we're just not going to do that and then not do the thing. 11-2 last night. Corey Taylor had 3 home runs in that game for the Dodgers. 3 home runs for the Dodgers. That was supposed to be it was a bullpen game for the Dodgers. That's the kind of game you're set up to win. Atlanta sends Max Fried, the pitcher with the lowest ERA in baseball after the All-Star breakout, to the hill. He goes 4.2, gives up 8 hits, 5 earned runs, and a pair of walks to go with 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs. Every Braves pitcher last night, Fried, Martin, Lee, and Webb, all gave up at least 1 home run. All of them gave up at least 1 home run. Fried gave up 2, Martin gave up 1, Lee gave up 1, Webb gave up 1. 17 hits recorded by the Dodgers last night. 17 hits recorded by the Dodgers. The Braves, on the other hand, had 5. Scored 2, both on home run, or excuse me, 1 on a home run, given up by Joe Kelly. They chased Joe Kelly out of the game after just 2 outs. In the first, he didn't even finish the first inning. And I thought, here we go. You've been beating up the bullpen. Just beat them up a little bit more. Let's get out of here and go to the World Series. Chased Joe Kelly after 2 outs, Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them a dinger. He's gone. The Dodgers would end up using 6 more pitchers to get through the game. They gave up 5 hits total. The Braves gave up 17. Last year's series, Braves, Dodgers, Braves, Dodgers, Dodgers, Dodgers. This year's series, Braves, Dodgers, Braves, Dodgers, question mark. I got to tell you, I hate to say it, I am prepared for them to fill in the blank. Braves and the Dodgers back in Atlanta, 2 games, Saturday and Sunday, to punch a ticket to the World Series. Over on the AL side of things, we have got the Astros and the Red Sox getting set to go tonight. That game's going to be at 8:08 p.m. Nathan Eovaldi back on the hill for the Red Sox. Luis Garcia is on the hill for Houston. Houston leads that series 3-2. Boston now has to go down to Houston and win 2 of them in H-Town. They split 1-1 in the first 2 games of this series. Item number 2 on the lunch breakdown. Yesterday, we had Rashad Beard on the show, as we do every Thursday at 1 o'clock to talk Panthers football. And we started talking about Christian McCaffrey and the injury and how it's been handled and the rumors that he would be coming back against Philly, and then he did not. Then the rumors he'd be coming back against Minnesota, and not only did he not, but he ended up going on the IR, meaning he's not available until week 9. 3 more games Christian McCaffrey will have to miss. Well, Rashad said, hey, the Carolina Panthers have a history of mismanaging injuries. A history of screwing the pooch on getting guys healthy. And I said on the air, I said, I've heard that rumor before, but that can't be true, can it? Can't be right. Well, yesterday, the New York Daily News put out a story that said Graham Gano is claiming that the Panthers team doctors misdiagnosed the 2018 left leg injury that ultimately cost him the entire 2019 season. Said he had a fractured left femur, but only a 2019 surgery for a different injury got him right. Said the Panthers missed that diagnosis multiple times. When he went to get the knee surgery in 2019, a second opinion at New York's Hospital for Special Surgery said, hey, your leg broke, dude. Kind of seems like that'd be a tough one to miss.
Excuse me, did you know that your leg is fractured?
You get that news. Listen, man, we went in there to scope out the knee, and that went fine. But we just wanted to tell you, you've been limping around on a busted wheel for the better part of a year and a half now.
You know, that stuff can happen. I had a broken foot and didn't know it till I tore all the ligaments in my ankle. And they said, by the way, your foot is fractured. It's been fractured, looks like, for a little while. And I remember when it got fractured because this lineman that took up 2 spots in the line stepped on my foot.
The old offensive guard tackle?
Yeah. And the only way I could get loose is to start punching him in the helmet.
NFL, that's 15-yard penalty, buddy.
It is. So I can see how something like that could go misdiagnosed. It's possible if it's like a hairline fracture or something like that. I'm not trying to take their side, but it is possible that it could have been missed, right?
Absolutely. It's one thing when a mistake happens. We all make mistakes. It's another thing when you are so inept, when you do this so often that it has become the narrative about your team, right? When it becomes that, when guys who love it, when Rashad, a guy who loves that team, right? Rashad's a big Panthers dude. But when he's going out of his way to find me on Twitter and say, look, Rob, I told you, they did it with CMC, they did it with a handful of other players, and now they've done it with Graham Gano. It becomes the norm, unfortunately.
Does this warrant
a problem.
Does this warrant an investigation by the NFL?
I don't think so, because I mean, unless you're gonna go in and investigate them for effectively what is medical malpractice, right? They can just chalk it up to a mistake. Here's where it will get you in trouble, though. Where it will get you in trouble is, let's say you're a free agent, and let's say you've had some injuries in the past, right? You've had some injuries. You know there's a possibility that's going to happen. You about to sign up for a team that routinely and regularly screws up medical evaluations to the point that they are missing broken legs? Right? This isn't guy hyperextended his elbow and we missed a ACL sprain. That's a broken damn leg. I'm not a doctor, nor did I stay in a Holiday Inn Express last night, but if you show me an x-ray of a broken leg and a not broken leg, most of the time I'm going to be able to tell you which is which. That's a big one. Gano said that his departure from the Panthers was frustrating He said, quote, "It was potentially career ending. That whole thing was mismanaged. They told me I had one injury when it was actually a lot worse than that. What really needed to be fixed wasn't. I shouldn't have missed the full season. I did, but there's no changing it now. I'm just thankful to be playing here." Gano said his departure from the Panthers was also frustrating because he never got a chance to kick for Matt Rule. He said, quote, "I think it was actually the day I was coming back to kick in front of the new coaches in July 2020. I was walking out the door and they stopped me and said, 'Just wait.' And they cut me right then. That was going to be my first day kicking in front of the new staff." Gano signed a one-year deal with the Giants last August. He has made 93.5% of his field goals, 43 of 46, 93% of his extra points at 27 of 29. Earned him an extension through 2023. In the meantime, while Graham Gano's kicking for the New York Giants at a clip of 93.5% from the field, 93.1% on XP, the Panthers have had 3 kickers. They have made 81.25% of their field goals at 39 of 48, 90% of their extra points at 46 of 51. Joey Sly, Ryan Santoso, and Zane Gonzalez are those 3 kickers. Point of that I'm making is this. Lonzo, the Panthers don't screw up that medical evaluation. They have a good kicker on the roster instead of working through journeyman after journeyman to try to find the guy.
Gotta say, I thought this was just a matter of because they let a lot of people go as far as veterans goes. That's the reason why I thought they got rid of Gano. I never thought it was a matter of him losing his ability to kick field goals. So that's surprising that he didn't even get the kick in front of the new staff.
I mean, we had all kinds of reasons. We had all kinds of reasons to believe that Graham Gano ultimately got sent home. Now we find out it was the Panthers' fault. It was the Panthers' fault. Unbelievable. That's the kind of attention to detail that will get you into last place in your division. Right there. You could have a kicker. Who knows how different that Philly game is if they knock down a couple extra field goals. If they've got confidence at 45 yards out that Graham Gano can not knock that down instead of, Ryan Santoso. But another injury mismanaged by the Panthers. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Let's take a break. We'll come back with item number 3. Congress has now gotten involved with the Washington football team / National Football League email scandal. What are they asking for? And what does it mean for the NFL? Break that down next on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo, it's ESPN Upstate. Talk to you about Harley Davidson of Greenville, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, buying a new vehicle, a car, motorcycle, truck, boat, it doesn't matter. It's it can be, even if you've done it before, an intimidating process, right? There's so many things, so many moving parts, lots of stuff you got to be concerned about. Am I getting the right deal? Am I getting the right bike? Am I going to have buyer's remorse after it? Are we going to make the financing easy? So if you're in the market for a new motorcycle or a pre-owned motorcycle, my number one suggestion, go to Harley Davidson of Greenville. Go to Harley of Greenville. Why? Because they make the process streamlined, simple, easy, and most importantly, comfortable. When you go in, they're going to talk to you. They're going to ask you, what kind of bike are you looking for? What kind of riding do you plan on doing? How much riding do you plan on doing? Where are you going to be riding? What kind of look do you want? And once you do all that, then they're going to help you find the perfect bike for you. Whether it is one of the brand new 2021 models with the new paint schemes, the new finishes, all the bells and whistles and trinkets and lights, or maybe you're looking for something pre-owned. They have the largest pre-owned selection in the upstate, meaning somewhere in their beautiful showroom, the bike of your dreams is waiting for you. And then when it's time to buy, when you're ready to pull the trigger, they're going to make that process easy for you as well. They're going to walk you through it step by step. They can help you with the financing. They can take care of everything right there in-house. No more running around from bank to loaning place to dealership to mechanics. Everything is done right there at Harley, including taking care of your bike, because they have trained, certified Harley-Davidson specialists who know your bike like they know themselves. You need work done? You take it right back to Harley of Greenville, and the folks who do nothing but work on Harleys are going to work on yours. Check them out. Go 30 Chrome Drive. That's their beautiful showroom, 30 Chrome Drive. Or check out their website at upstateharley.com. Upstateharley.com. It's our friends at Harley-Davidson of Greenville.
Kansas Speedway this weekend. The Xfinity Series and the ARCA Series will each run on Saturday, and then the Cup Series with the Hollywood Casino 400 on Sunday. After the next two races in the Cup Series, the current group of 8 playoff drivers will be cut down to 4, and those 4 will compete for a Cup Series championship. Right now, the 4 drivers who are above the cut line: Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch, while Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano are below the cut line. The starting lineup announced earlier in the week as Kyle Larson is starting from pole, being joined in the front row by Ryan Blaney. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley. High school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the scores, discussion, interviews, and more on the Saturday Morning Scramble powered by Downers Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. Snap. It's reverse. Wade Meadows, right side. Touchdown. Wade Meadows. It is a one-score game.
Honda Attraction is now open. Voted one of America's top odds and #1 in South Carolina. Experience the biggest and scariest haunted attraction full of dark woods.
So if I get up and walk out at some point, it's because I'm having a coughing fit.
Yeah, you're good.
Although on the plus side, when the coughing starts, it means I'm closer to being over it. Plus, this is the most I've talked all day. So. But if I can't get through this, I'm in trouble tomorrow, where I have to carry it.
Yeah. So you've been this for like 2 days now? 3?
It's 3. I can't take the medicine again until 1. You know, if it says 4 hours and you take the medicine at 3.5, you know, something catastrophic could happen. Yeah.
That's just how it works. You die. We tried to warn you. It's on the box. Hi, Miss Lisa.
Rules are there for a reason. We still have something to look forward to when we're done. My thing has been delivered, but we couldn't have it delivered at home, so it had to be delivered at a store. So, but that store closes at 6 o'clock, so I need to get home and then get over there and get it.
ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Can you pick winners? Well, then you can win cash. It's that simple. In the Rocket Mortgage Pro Football Pickup, just pick the most games right.
Question is, in my snot-riddled brain, can I figure out how to hook it up?
Snot-riddled brain.
The struggle is real, yo. I sent you that riddle thing because he's talking about the camel, and
Spirit animal.
yeah, I thought that was great. And the camel emojis. I think yesterday I had 4 strikes in a row in that first game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Turkey plus.
But it was weird because I missed the head pin a couple times. Still got a strike out of it. It's like something happened. It like imploded backwards.
Nice.
I don't know.
You threw the ball so hard, the air pressure going through just
That might have been what it was.
imploded the pins. And where we go, the Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. We didn't get to item number 3 in the lunch breakdown because I wanted to give it a segment here. Found out yesterday evening that Congress, the big one, the DC folks, the Capitol Hill dudes and dudettes, have now decided that they are going to get in on the NFL/Washington football team's email scandal. 2 House Democrats sent a letter Thursday to Roger Goodell demanding that the league provide Congress with the results of the investigation into the Washington football team's workplace culture. The 5-page letter was written nearly 2 weeks after leaked emails led to LV Raiders coach John Gruden resigning from his job. His emails over a 7-year span sent to then Washington football team president Bruce Allen included multiple examples of racist, anti-gay, and misogynistic language. It also led to renewed calls for the NFL to release the findings of an independent investigation led by attorney Beth Wilkinson into Washington's workplace. There was no written report after the nearly year-long investigation, and the league has not released all the findings. According to an NFL spokesman, the league is not going to reopen the investigation nor release the 650,000-ish emails that they collected. The letter was sent by Representative Carolyn B. Maloney of New York, who is the chairwoman of the Committee on Oversight and Reform, and Representative Raja Krishnamurthy from Illinois. They asked the league to turn over a number of documents and answer numerous investigation questions by November 4th. They want the NFL to produce, quote, all documents and communications obtained in connection with the investigation into the WFT, its management, its owners, and any other matter relating to or resulting from the WFT investigation. They also want the NFL to detail its role in Wilkinson's investigation and why there was no written report after 150 people had been interviewed. It also raised concerns about non-disclosure agreements that former employees had signed, and it wanted to know the NFL General's Counsel, Jeff Pash, his role in the investigation. Pash's close relationship with Allen was revealed in some of the leaked emails on topics that range from jokes on the league's diversity initiatives to rescinding an NFL fine. Allen was fired at the end of the 2009 season. The 2 Democrats wrote, quote, "We have serious concerns about what appears to be widespread abusive workplace conduct of the WFT and the NFL's handling of this matter. Communications between league management and WFT leadership also raises questions about the league's asserted impartiality in these investigations," end quote. Now, the Washington football team was fined $10 million after the investigation concluded. At the time, owner Dan Snyder's wife, Tanya, became a CEO of the franchise, a co-CEO of the franchise. While Dan focused on securing a new stadium, Tanya took over the daily operations. Last week, 10 former Washington employees sent a letter to multiple sponsors, including Nike and Amazon, wanting them to press the NFL for detailed findings of the investigation. So, where do you come down on this, Rob? I'm glad you asked. I am not a big fan of Congress getting involved in the affairs of private businesses, and the NFL is one, right? Same stance that I have taken in other situations. I don't think it's government job to get involved in individual businesses. I have always said that. I am, despite the fact that I absolutely think people should get vaccinated. I absolutely think people should be wearing masks. I absolutely think we should be doing all the things as individuals we should do. I'm not a big fan of mandates, okay? Never have been. Lonzo, there's a couple of people whose jaws may be on the floor right now because of this.
Yeah, mine would be bad. Keep it closed because it's not.
I thought I saw a little bit of a. Is that Rob over there? Face? I thought I saw.
Yeah,
that
I'm thinking. Great. I've reached the point of my illness where I'm hearing things.
The hallucinations are real. Not a big fan of Congress getting involved. I absolutely do. Now there are some things that. I think they have to be. Child labor laws, I think we'd all agree those are good things, right? I think child labor laws are good things. I think health and safety standards. You ever heard the story of the Cuyahoga River? I'm sure Lonzo has. It's up in his neck of the woods. Before the EPA was involved, Cuyahoga River used to be able to throw a match on it and it would set the whole river on fire because of the amount of pollutants dumped into it. I think there are some bare minimum standards that have to be enforced, but I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of mandates, right? That being said, I think the NFL is a joke for not releasing the results of the investigation. I think there's a reason they have not done so. I would like to think that at some point we as fans will step in and go, you know what? No, it's not okay. It's not acceptable. But here's the thing. It's tough to do. Football's supposed to be our break from life, and very few fans, I mean, it really kind of falls on us. Very few fans, if we're being intellectually honest with each other, very few fans are going to give up their football because of something that happened with the Washington football team, right? And if we collectively are still watching the NFL's got no impetus to change. Now, I'll tell you this, attendance at Washington football games sucks, all right? It's bad. Saints played there 3 weeks ago, and the Who Dat chants were louder than anything that the Washington football team fans were doing. I think there are a lot of Washington football people, Washington football team fans that are fed up. Now, whether they're fed up with what's happened in the front office away from the field or whether they're fed up with the fact that the team sucks, I don't know. But here is the other thing. These two individuals from Congress have not mandated anything. They have not legislated anything. They have not subpoenaed anything. They have sent a letter requesting the NFL do a thing. I got no issue with that. I got a problem. They're not mandating anything. They're not legislating the NFL. They're not putting their hands on the NFL. They've simply said, we would like to see the results of the investigation. And I got news for you. Most of us would. Most of us would. Lonzo, you got no stake in this. Would you want the results of this investigation to be released by the NFL in a sense of transparency?
I would. Will be, because I wonder, and this is maybe the conspiracy theorist in me. I don't know. It may look like if they released them all, you may find out that they decided to go after one person and there were multiple people they could have went after. Or, it could be 650,000 emails, and out of those, probably 15 to 20 were interesting, and the rest were just, hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine. Please send me this report. Things like that.
Yeah,
But I gotta think, it looks like they're trying to hide something.
Right.
The fact that they won't release it.
Yeah, it absolutely looks like A, it looks like they're trying to hide something, and B, the fact that now, and this is my conspiracy theory for the day. The other aspect seems to me like the NFL has basically taken the box of grenades that is likely this report, stuffed them in the closet, and can now look at everybody else in the National Football League and go, say something.
Hey, you know what we got? We got something for you over here.
Say something.
You are going to comply and do what we ask.
Yep. Say something. Go out there and complain about us. Go out there and tell people you have a problem with Roger Goodell. Go out there and try to take down one of our owners. Say something. Now, fortunate news is that I'd like to hope that the majority of folks in the NFL aren't sending racist and homophobic and misogynistic emails back and forth. But we have had a bunch of players that have come out since the John Gruden story and said, Chucky was not alone. There's a lot of this that goes on. There is a lot of this that goes on. So there are some folks. I got no issue with these two congresswomen asking for the WFT to I'll go ahead and do it now. Hey, Roger Goodell, release the damn emails, you coward. Release the results of the investigation, you coward. Dan Snyder, you absolute piece of human garbage. Put out the emails. Let's see what you got. If you, as you maintain, have had nothing going on inside the organization, then put them out. I got no problem with them asking. Them legislating, demanding the private business do a thing, not a huge fan of that idea. What I will say, though, is that I wonder if there is a breaking point. I wonder if there's a breaking point. I wonder if there's a point where fans start going, guys, this is not okay. And if so, where is it? Texas says, even though they are Democrats, they obviously have a decent brain to know the NFL isn't going to turn over anything and they will never get a judge to sign a subpoena for something, quote, that stupid. I don't know, man. A $10 million fine, 650,000 emails, which were strong enough to get one coach canned. Seems to me like that's not, quote, something stupid. That is a blatant pattern of unacceptable behavior inside the office. But it's kind of the concept of what's the one example everybody uses? The bakery with the gay wedding cake, right? I have been saying for years, if a bakery doesn't want to bake a wedding cake for a gay couple, they should not be obligated to. That being said, I 100% do not have to bring my business there. I don't have to bring my business there, and neither does anybody else. And if that business goes under, you have made your choice. Where's that point for the NFL? Is there a line for the NFL? Texas says, what laws were broken? Nothing. I mean, what authority did they have requested? What laws were broken? Multiple counts of sexual harassment, we know for a fact. We know for a fact there have been dozens of sexual harassment issues within the WFT. We know that for a fact. Here's the other problem. What laws were broken? Nothing? We don't know. That's the point. The point is that the NFL did this investigation, fined the Washington football team $10 million, and then just shut everything in a box. We don't know what laws were broken. Now, you can't just go blowing the whole thing up because you have suspicion laws were broken. That's why it's a request and not a subpoena, so we can look and find out. But again, where's the breaking point? Where's the point where we go, nope, I'm done with this? Is there one? Has football gotten so big in this country that the NFL can get away with anything? Like Ray Lewis with an alleged murder. I don't know. Seems like it. Let's take a break. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP. ESPN is the number. Let's take a break. Back after this, I'm Rob Lonzo. This is ESPN Upstate.
With the latest on the Ben Simmons 76ers situation, the 25 are met today with the team's met with Doc Rivers and his teammates. He told them ready to play to his expectations. Based on the determination of medical
That's me. I'm not mentally ready to work the rest of the day. I need to go home.
I'm very rarely mentally ready for anything. Y'all be nice to Lonzo Wonga, although his wife's the only one in the chat, so.
Baseball, Red Sox face a must-win Game 6 of the ALCS tonight against the Astros, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
From the English Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
Listen to Kelvin. What he's about to say could change your life.
I'm 6'2" and about 290. Lost weight fast. I trimmed down about 235 and probably at about 490, maybe 50% body fat. That's great. I lost probably at least 60 pounds in probably 3.5, 4 months. Hair in my hair's coming back. Skin looks better. Obviously being in muscle, my muscle enough to do that. Makes you surprised and awesome product. Somebody who actually has and does it for sure they will. That's awesome.
That's great, Kelvin. Losing that belly fat in less than 4 months is outstanding. Since 2004, Andro 400 has been changing men's lives, like Kelvin, and can help you lose belly fat, gain energy, and improve your lifestyle. We guarantee it. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitting and the game in It's hot. The type of guy that sees the bar with the biggest TVs and overcompensate for theirs at home.
Are you looking for the perfect spot to spend your game day? Head to Twin Peaks, where the 29-degree draft beer is flowing. The kitchen is bursting with made-from-scratch fan favorites, and the game is blasting from every angle. This is how we do football season.
There's confusion in how to protect yourself from COVID.
So I have to try to go another 2 hours and 15 minutes without having a major coughing fit. Looking forward to the challenge. And the fact that my voice sounds like it's going through a witness protection filter.
So I got to, since I was hosting trivia last night, I got there early and the guys at the bar were like, do you mind if we wait like half an hour? Because the bar was empty. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But I already had my sound hooked up. So I'm like, do you guys want me to just play music? And they're like, yeah, play music. So I played the Hulk Hogan entrance music over the loudspeakers at the bar. The guy working comes up and he goes, is this Hulk Hogan's theme? I was like, yeah. He goes, can you just do wrestling songs for like 20 minutes? I was like, hell yeah. So we literally just ran through wrestling intro music for like 20 minutes.
Not only can I
will.
Yes.
Ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub. It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, floors, and walls, and keeping my sneakers clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, greatest invention ever.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleanness.
Some man came over to me last night a couple of times. You all right? No, I'm not all right. Quit asking me. Figured out, or Diesel figured out a pattern with the colors last night because I'm messed up because it went red right as I threw the ball.
Really?
Yes. Third game, I couldn't even see the pins. It's just like, because the science has got my eyes so messed up and the colors on top of that. It's like, yeah.
My mic's okay. My headphones are messed up. I was like, I know I turned my mic on. Did you see the Alec Baldwin news yesterday?
Yeah, that's rough, man.
That's rough. Apparently on set filming a movie, Alec Baldwin was discharging a prop gun that had blanks in it, but there was some sort of misfire, and the cinematographer, the cinematographer. Why can't I say that word? Cinematographer. There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks. Shot. So Alec Baldwin pulled the trigger on a prop gun. The prop gun did have blanks. It wasn't a live round. It was reported initially it was a live round. It was not a live round. It was a blank. But as we learned from, this has happened a couple of times. Because it was Brendan Lee, Bruce Lee's kid, was killed in the same way.
Count it. I don't care.
I'm still winning 2-1. Well, no, you're playing injured today.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm still playing, and but you had a rough start of the week.
Yeah. One more, it's a tie though. You got to get through the rest of the show clean. Brandon Lee, this happened to him on the shooting site of The Crow. The prop gun went off. There was a blank in it. But something either discharged from the weapon or the concussion. She was too close to the gun. I haven't seen the whole story yet, but the film's director of photography, Helena Hutchins, 42 years old, was killed by the discharge, and director Joel Souza, 48, was injured by the discharge of the firearm. They are doing a full investigation. No charges have been filed. The investigation is ongoing. The 911 call came at about 3:50 our time, 1:50 local time when this happened.
That's the weird part, that two people were injured over. I mean, so did he shoot it multiple times? From what I thought, I saw that it was a misfire.
Yeah, so again, they haven't really gone into great detail about what happened, right? We just know there was a discharge of a prop gun with blanks in it, and then this young lady was killed and the director of the movie was injured.
It would almost make you think that it went through her and
yeah, but if it was a blank, nothing's supposed to be discharged from the weapon, right?
There's still gunpowder.
Right.
And
again, that's what happened to Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee was fooling around with a gun on the set of The Crow. It had blanks in it, but he pointed at his head and pulled the trigger. What happened? Do you remember?
No, that was a different actor. Brandon Lee, it was in his stomach. I was reading about it earlier.
Okay. All right.
Someone, it was another actor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I forget the name of the other actor who was playing around, pretending like he was doing Russian roulette.
Yeah.
And he did that.
He fired a blank, and so I think it was the concussion wave that killed him. And Brandon Lee, something, because a prop gun with a blank will still discharge, can still discharge a part of the bullet. It won't have the velocity of a bullet. But
We'll have to look it up during the break, but I think with the Brandon Lee thing, it was actually a bullet. There was confusion, and there was actually something in the at least that's what I read earlier.
Yeah, wild story, man. Absolutely wild story last night. Texture says they have blanks in the weapons, but they hold the powder inside with either wax bullets or paper wads. Yeah, exactly. I know that it can discharge something. And again, it may not have the velocity of a bullet, but it will have. I mean, if it's right next to your head or right next to your stomach, it will absolutely impact you. Text says what happened was most likely they used a shot that had a real round in it for a shot. It was stuck in the barrel, and the blank pushed the round out. I would assume the prop master would know that, right? Like, wouldn't the prop master check? Like, every time you're going to fire a false weapon, you would check it again to ensure that it's completely safe.
Yeah, but unfortunately, people make mistakes and
Sure.
think they checked something and they didn't.
And from what I read, the prop master on this scene was not a union prop, not like a guy that would ordinarily be working on a big Hollywood. This is like a low budget film for Hollywood. So, it may turn out they cut a corner and it cost this young lady. It's just a weird story. Weird story. Let's take a break. Back after this, we got sports, I promise, on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
I just read that about Brandon Lee earlier. That's the reason why. Let's see if I can find that again.
Saturday, sunshine or 71 degrees. Sunday, mostly sunny, high of 77. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on ESPN Upstate. Currently, it's 71.
Yeah, Brandon Lee was hit by a .44 caliber slug while filming the death
so it was
scene.
an actual bullet.
The gun was meant to be filled with blank rounds, but autopsy revealed a real bullet had entered the body near his spine. It does make you wonder, why are there even real bullets on the set of a movie? Do we have any guests today?
No, Kevin's out.
Okay.
From your own body put directly in the affected joint, restoring and repairing damaged tissue the way your body was designed to heal.
If you're tired of the Band-Aid solutions like drugs and steroids and you really want to avoid surgery, you need to check out QC Kinetics. Regenerative, restorative, natural treatments for knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips.
Don't continue to suffer and don't go in for surgery until you check this out. See if you're a candidate of QC Kinetics.
Call 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. No surgical pain relief with lasting results. 864-448-3772.
Finding great
You're right, Josh. Blame Rob.
Can we ever be happy again? Which is the official motto of 2021, I think.
So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate.
So now I got to figure out when I get the new system hooked up, what's the first game I play to see if I can tell the difference between.
Whatever the last game you played is.
I don't know if I'd notice though, because the last game I played is Diablo 2 Remastered or Resurrected, which is an older game. So it's not, even though it's. Maybe I should play Far Cry 6 on it. Maybe see if I can tell the difference. Although probably the true test would be to play a game that I've played 1,000 times,
Yeah,
and see if it stands out. Like either playing Fallout or playing Skyrim. I want to play that game.
it's on the marketplace, isn't it? I'll
Yeah,
with you.
yeah, it's on
a
Game Pass
designed
right now.
multiplayer game.
Yeah,
I'll play with you.
if you're ever available with your busy lifestyle.
How much time we have?
We have a minute and a half.
Indeed is the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, nice party.
Yeah, what's new with you?
Did you know blue whales in Hawaii can be heard off the coast of California?
What?
And time travel to the future may actually be possible.
How is
I
that?
discovered it on Curiosity Stream.
I'm listening.
You can stream thousands of shows on nature, history, science, and so much more.
Cool.
And their annual plans are 25% off, just $1.25 a month.
Oh, I want to go back in time. Sign up for that deal.
Sign up now at curiositystream.com.
CuriosityStream.com.
That's it, curiositystream.com.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on
Is McAfee shutting his show down?
I don't know.
He's got a bunch of tweets about like, I'm impressed with the boys. I'm letting it go. But he just sent out a tweet that said he's looking for the next group of guys that could potentially join him daily. So I guess maybe he's like resetting the whole show. Do I apply to be on Pat McAfee's show?
Go for it.
Lonzo's like, stop talking to me.
Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
Made for upstate sports junkies. Sports like food every day. Get hooked on the Rob Brown Show. Every weekday on ESPN.
All right, wrapping up hour number 1. When we come back, we'll open up hour number 2 by looking back at last night's game with the Braves and the Dodgers. Got that coming up for you. The Balloon World Cup happened a few days ago. And I got to tell you, I have become such a fan of like these weird random sports championships. I'll tell you what I mean. It's a game you've played before, but there are guys playing it competitively for big money. Could you compete? We'll talk about that coming up in a little while. The Dolphins looks like they may be completing their trade for Deshaun Watson sometime in the next week. And it's a terrible idea. I'll tell you why later on in the show. And plenty more. It's going to get weird. Stick around. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. It's ESPN Upstate.
Yeah, I just read all that too. That's sure does sound like he's starting over. That's weird because those are his guys. I don't. Did he get them their own show?
That's what it sounded like, right?
Yeah.
Like he's sending them to do something, but at the same time, I these guys should have a chance to go on and do better and better. And I'm like, what's bigger and better than your show with 1 million hits a day?
Yeah.
There aren't radio shows, with the exception of like Rome, that have a wider audience than McAfee.
I do wonder with his other obligations, is he able to continue doing what he's doing? But that's how he got to where he is.
That's why he has the other obligations.
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Unless, of course, his obligations with his show is holding him back from doing some things with WWE and WWE.
Yeah, but it says he's looking for the
I know.
next group of guys and on to the next thing. So
I'm surprised he doesn't just take them with him. Although he takes them, or he did, some of them when he does this Friday night video, that I showed you, he takes some of them guys on the plane with him sometimes. Or it's just a gimmick.
Only on ESPN.
all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it going. Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show on a Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Starts right now. I am Rob Brown. Directly across the glass from me, the guy in charge of the broadcast, the great one, Lonzo, is at the helm. Want to be a part of the show? Do it. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307-71307. You can tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, W-R-D, or tweet everybody at the station at ESPN Upstate. All the different ways to get in touch with the radio broadcast today. A lot of stuff I want to get into. Look, I have used this theme. I've used this take quite a bit. Championship teams are the teams that get the details right. Yeah. Championship teams are the teams that do the little things right. We've talked about mentality. We've talked about attitude. You can have a team that is fun and loosey-goosey. You can have a team that has a business-like mentality, a business-like approach to the game. But at the end of the day, the only thing that separates great teams from good teams and good teams from average teams and average teams from bad teams are A, talent, and B, attention to detail. Go through and read the books of any great coaches. Mike Krzyzewski, John Wooden, Vince Lombardi, Nick Saban. Go through and read the books of any great coach. And you will see a variety of philosophies. You'll see a variety of philosophies listed in the different coaching styles of different coaches. I have found in reading books about these guys, these great coaches over the years, I have found that there are really only a couple of trends, a couple of traits that all of them go out of their way to point out. And the one that I see the most is attention to detail, is getting the attention to detail right, making sure that you have the little things right. That's the problem I have right now with the Carolina Panthers. And that's the problem I had last night with the Atlanta Braves. We have two different stories that are broken, both of which this was my first thought, right? Last night, Max Fried's on the hill for the Atlanta Braves. Max Fried last night, there was a dude, and I felt like something was off. I felt like something was off. I felt like there was something that was weird, something that was different about Max Fried last night, who, by the way, has been stellar in the back half of the season. I pointed it out yesterday. Max Fried had the lowest ERA of any pitcher after the All-Star break. Dude was aces. So I felt like something was off, and there's a guy that I follow on Twitter, and I forgot where he went. I need to go. I'll go see if I can go find the tweet, put it back up. But he actually went and he pulled Max Fried and his pitching motion from a couple of games late in the season where he was dynamite and compared it to last night. And what he found was that a couple of little things within Max Fried's motion last night were off. He was coming to the plate a little faster than he has in recent games, right? He wasn't fully rotating through his pitching motion traditionally. He was hustling the pitch. And it resulted in two things. It resulted in the fastball being up high more than it normally is. And it resulted in his breaking ball hanging more than it does. As a result, he got batted around like a lot. And then once the Dodgers had a lead, the Braves got away from what they had been doing on the hill with the rest of the four pitchers that came in, got away from what they had been doing in games previous. And you could see it. They were trying to be a more aggressive attacking the plate. Problem is, in getting over aggressive, they were making mistakes. In getting over aggressive, they were putting the ball up for sale. And the Dodgers took advantage. The other story that's popped up, yesterday we had Rashad Beard on the show. Rashad is the host of the Panther Nation podcast. It is the go-to for me when I want to see what's going on in the Panthers organization. And he said, hey, look, the Panthers have a history of mismanaging injuries. And that's probably what happened with Christian McCaffrey. So remember, McCaffrey got hurt in the Dallas game, left that game. We got told it's not likely, but there is a chance that he's ready for Philly. He was not. Then we got told the next week there's a chance he'll be ready for Minnesota. Not only was he not, but he went on injured reserve for 3 more weeks after that. Guy's unavailable now until week 9. You got to play 7. You had to play 6. You got to play 7 and 8 now without him. So he won't be available until week number 9. Now I said, Rashad, what happened with that, man? Because, Dallas game, they said maybe by Philly, but probably not. Wasn't ready for Philly. But then Matt Rule said there's a solid chance he'll be ready to go against the Minnesota Vikings in week 6. Panthers fans, I was doing so on Sunday mornings, I do the Carolina Kickoff live from Wings Etc. in Boiling Springs. Come on out and see me, Panthers fans. Love to have you. We were talking about it. There's a bunch of Panthers fans that show up and hang out. There is a young lady who comes out to every single game. She's always at Wings Etc. for the Panthers games. And her and about 3 other dudes have taken to come and sitting on the porch, listen to the show. I bring a little speaker. I play the show while I'm doing it over the patio. Come and sit out, listen to some Panthers talk, hang out. So she comes up to me and she's like, Coach Rule said that McCaffrey will be back sooner rather than later, and I believe it. I believe it. And I said, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, because unfortunately, as Rashad said, they're an average to slightly better than average offense when Christian McCaffrey plays. They're bad when he doesn't. All right? She said, I believe it. And to some degree, so did I. And then we find out that, nope. Now, again, let's say we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt is it's a hamstring injury. They're tricky. They're tricky. They can come out of nowhere. They can affect guys who have never had an issue before. And once you have a hamstring injury, treatment for them are, frankly, kind of difficult. Kind of difficult. It can be busted up. It can come out of nowhere. You can be feeling better, think you're on the road to recovery, and then one day you wake up and your leg won't bend. I have pulled a hamstring. It is not fun. It is not fun. But we asked Rashad about that, and Rashad said, hey, look, there's a chance this is just a regular injury that went wonky. He said, but also, there's a chance the Panthers med staff screwed this up, and they have done it over and over. I thought, well, that's a mighty big claim. Mighty big claim from Rashad. Well, then Graham Gano, who has just been signed by the New York Giants back in August and has been kicking very well for them this year. Gosh, if only the Panthers had a kicker. Well, they would have. They would have. Graham Gano was a Carolina Panther. 2018, he was a Carolina Panther. Had a leg injury. They brought him in. He ended up with a knee injury. They took him in for surgery to clean him up. And while they were in there doing the surgery, the doctors looked and said, I'll be damned, his leg's broke. He had a fracture in his right leg that never got treated, never got addressed by the Panthers. He went through. He got his rehab. He showed up. Because of the leg surgery, or because of the broken leg, he missed the entire 2019 season. Sorry, 2019 season. So he ends up sitting out. He ends up rehabbing. He ends up coming back the next year, expecting to be a Panther. Shows up, gets cut. You're out, big dog. Appreciate you coming by. Never got to kick for Matt Rule's offense. Graham Gano went in the New York Daily News yesterday, did an interview, and said, hey, look, I would have played there. I wanted to play there. I was working to play there. They screwed up my treatment. They missed the diagnosis. And because of that, I ended up getting cut. Now he's with the Giants. Now he's kicking. I read the numbers earlier. Was it 90, almost 94% from the field and 91% on PATs, which is about average for the league, slightly over. Those are the little details. And I know the med staff doesn't have a great impact on what happens on the field, but they kind of do, right? But they kind of do. Because if your guys aren't healthy, if you guys can't get the right treatment, if you're missing the details and by the way, Lonzo, I find some hilarity in calling a broken freaking leg a detail. Kind of seems like a big thing.
Minor detail. Nothing that important.
Yeah. And it's a little more than a minor detail, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of a big damn deal.
Especially if you're a kicker.
Yeah. You know, that one body part that you use to make all your monies. It's kind of a big deal. Here's the point that I'm making. Panthers get that detail right? Panthers get that detail right. He gets that leg fixed up all in one shot. He doesn't miss 2019. He kicks for Matt Rule. He's a 93, 94% field goal kicker from the floor. Panthers got a kicker this year. There have been a couple of games that maybe things are a little bit different if the Panthers know that they've got a reliable option from 40, 42 out. But they don't. And they haven't all season long. You have to get the little details right. And what's interesting about this is that this seems to be the trend with the Panthers for a guy in Matt Rule who is supposed to be a detail-oriented offensive coach. These are the type of things that make me lose faith. I've told you to believe me, because I get this email once a day, Rob, you don't care if the Panthers suck, you're a Saints fan. No. I do. I need the Panthers to be good. I hope the Panthers are good. For the most human of reasons. You've heard me say it before. You'll hear me say it again. Do you know what happens for me if the Panthers are good? I make cheddar. I make more money if the Panthers are good. We do more remotes if the Panthers are good. We get more people coming on board with the radio station if the Panthers are good. As a Saints fan, yeah, I've never wanted the Panthers to be good. They're in my division. Of course not. But as a not idiot, yeah, I want more stacks in the paycheck. And if the Panthers are good, that's what happens. But I have questions now. I was not on board initially with the hiring of Matt Rule. I know I wasn't here when it happened. But down in Florida, I was not on board. I went, wait a minute. I know that he's brought a couple of college football programs from obscurity onto the forefront. But that's college football. How many great coaches at the college level have we seen fail in the NFL? I'm talking great. I'm talking Spurrier. I'm talking Saban. Off the top of my head, Pete Carroll's the only one in recent times that you could say was successful. And I'll be real. If it wasn't for Russ Wilson, I don't think Pete Carroll's in the league, right?
I'd probably throw Harbaugh in there. He was fairly successful.
Okay.
He got San Francisco to the Super Bowl, if I recall.
Yep. I didn't like Matt Rule, and then I kind of started to buy into Matt Rule. The guys seemed to really like him. The guys seemed to be behind him. They seemed to be on board. And I'll take a great culture. Great culture, great chemistry can make up for a lack of some other things. If guys are out there fighting and dying for each other, it can make up for a slight amount of talent that's lacking. But if your team's not getting the little things right, if your team is missing the little things, you will not be good. You just won't. That's one real good way to look at evaluate up-and-coming coaches, right? One real good way to look at and evaluate up-and-coming coaches is to take a gander at how the program's run from the base level. Not on the field. How it's run at the base level. Are they getting the little things right? Are guys being managed the right way? Is it a smooth operating machine? The answer is yes. You can go, it's a good chance that guy's going to be good. And the Panthers right now seem to be missing the little details. It's picking up when a double route will work instead of a single move route, as Robbie Anderson was upset about, rightfully so. It's making sure your kicker doesn't have a broken freaking leg and getting his treatment right. It's making sure that when you are running the ball well in the first and second quarter, that your run-pass ratio remains at least consistent in the third quarter, which Panthers have not done. This team's a couple of offensive linemen away from being good, okay? You got a very good 1-2 combination at wide receiver. I'm kind of losing faith that Sam Darnold can be a great quarterback, but I think he can be a good enough quarterback. If Brad Johnson can win a Super Bowl, so can Sam Darnold. You got a defense that, with the exception of last weekend, has been, for the most part, consistent. You're close. Couple of offensive linemen. You're going to have one of the best defensive backfields in football. Stephon Gilmore looks like he's going to play this weekend. Going to have, when J.C. Horn comes back, one of the best defensive backfields in all of football, one of the best defensive lines in all of football. Grab me another stout linebacker. Grab me 2 or 3 great offensive linemen. You got yourself a damn football team in Carolina. But if they can't get the little things right, like making sure your kicker's leg isn't broken, like making sure the run-pass ratio doesn't go wonky when you've got a lead, can't get those things right, doesn't matter how good the team is. You will find new, creative, and inventive ways to lose football games. It's just that simple to me. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. The Ingles Market text line is open for you at 71307, 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We can read them on the air. Panda texting the show. Panda says, I'm currently doing a Panthers franchise in Madden and can confirm the offense is horrendous without CMC. Darnold can't hit the broadside of a barn in that game. Hurricane Jeff says, I'd have to put Jimmy Johnson in that transitional college to pro conversation. Yeah, I was trying to think like the last 2 decades. But you can go back to JJ. You've increased the number by 1.
But with Jimmy Johnson, it took him a little while, though.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. That first season was rough.
True story. So anyway, just a thought. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. Ingles Market text line, text is 71307. Start your text with ESPN. When we come back, huge major sporting event taking place right here in the GSP tomorrow night. I'm going to tell you how you can be a part of it. Join us for that next on The Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
On Saturday, Furman will take on ETSU. We'll have that broadcast for you right here, while Wofford will match up against Mercer. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
On ESPN Upstate, the Burns Rebels host the TL Hannah Yellow Jackets tonight at 7. The Rebels and Jackets play on ESPN Upstate and the Odyssey, powered by your local Ingles market. 97.7 FM, 97.1 FM, Spartanburg.
The manufacturing event you've been waiting for is back. South Tech 2021 is taking place October 26th through the 28th at Greenville Convention Center. If you are a small to mid-sized manufacturer, you and your team can't afford to miss this 3-day in-person Southeast manufacturing event. Whether your business is looking to get hands-on demonstrations, reduce costs, identify new markets, or maintain manufacturing competitiveness, South Tech has the technologies, experts, and industry leaders you rely on to make critical connections. South Tech features exhibits from more than 230 companies, daily keynotes, a digital transformation panel, and much more. You'll gain valuable insights you can put to work right away. Attend South Tech in person and you'll be likely to win one of three $1,000 gift cards. For more information about contest rules and to register, visit southtechonline.com and enter promo code RADIO, RADIO. That's southteconline.com, promo code RADIO. See you there.
But we have some meeting with a big order on Tuesday. Tina's floor manager retired, leaving her tortilla factory flat out.
What do you mean she's on assignment retreat?
She must fill the role and all those orders. Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Big news from Simply Safe Home Security. Okay. Actually, I think the horns are too much. Yeah, that's better. Big news. The new wireless outdoor security camera is here. Yes, Simply Safe's award-winning home security just got even better, taking whole home protection to a whole new level. Okay, I'm missing the horns. Simply Safe is celebrating this new camera with 30% off a new system this week. Visit simplysafe.com.
Howdy, y'all. This is Catherine with Denver Downs. You won't believe the fun that we've got ready for you this weekend. Find your way through our 10-acre Bee Happy Maze, jump on the giant pillow, try the zip lines, giant roller, and see all our adorable farm animals. Then you can sit back and enjoy our pig races and live entertainment. Saturday night.
Pig races. Pig races. Let's go to the pig races.
According to Forbes, gym stores and more are set to go to epic hiring sprees to meet up pent-up demand for all these services. Businesses reopening means that millions of jobs will need to be filled. So where do they turn to fill these roles fast? ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter technology is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who consult ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. You can try ZipRecruiter for free at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/Broncos. ZipRecruiter.com/BART.
Gentlemen, now you can find the best brands and fits for you without even trying. Just follow these easy instructions. Step 1. Shop a personalized store that does all the work for you.
You know, I've got land where I could raise a pig. You and I could
get into the pig racing.
Get into pig racing. I'm sure some listeners would help us sponsor our pig. Wonder if there's a specific kind of pig that's used for pig racing.
The best kind.
What kind of pig
is best for racing?
Used for pig racing? Miniature pigs. Little bitty pigs.
You know, since I moved here, I've done the best I can to get involved in the community. I want to be. I want this to be a place that people understand how much I love it. Right? Like I want this to be a place that I am part of the community because I love it here. I genuinely. In fact, I had this conversation. Matter of fact, last night I was out at a local watering hole watching the Braves game, and got into a conversation with a couple that had just moved here. Like 3 months ago, they just moved here. Started talking to them, and they're, where should we go? What should we do? What kind of stuff is there to hang? We've only been here 3 months. Most of it's been moving in. give us some stuff that we can do. And I started listing all the stuff. And, I'm telling about the Triumph games and the Swamp Rabbits games, the Drive games, and this, that, and the other. The guy's like, man, I'm going to start listening to your show. So if you're listening, Doug, great to have you in the hood, man. Welcome to the area. Welcome to the GVL. So anyway, get to talking to this couple, and and after a few minutes of, just want to listen. You ever been answering somebody's question, Lonzo, and like halfway through you realize I have talked entirely too much. I have said too many words.
I've thought that about you before.
Most people have. Most people have.
Yes, actually, I have absolutely thought that before. And but by the time you get to the point where you're thinking that, it's way too late.
Yeah. I'm only doing this job because I can take a 10-minute conversation and fill 3 hours with it. All right. It is what it is. Anyway, I get done with the end of this conversation. And by conversation, I mean lecture about all the things you can do in and around the GSP. I'm like, yeah, see, when baseball season rolls around, you got the Drive of the Spartanburgers, you got the Triumph, you got this, you got that. You got the Swamp Rabbits.
Are you a member of the
Furman,
Chamber of
Wofford.
Commerce? Perhaps
I'm not.
you should be.
I'm not.
Yeah.
But if they would like to do an endorsement deal, I'd be happy to do it. Happy to do it. Anyway, I go on for a handful of minutes, and the young lady says, "You must like it here." I'm like, yeah, I do. I really genuinely do. One of my favorite parts has been local sports, right? Mentioned the three pro teams. You got Clemson, South Carolina, Wofford, Furman, Chapman. Great high school football in the area. Unfortunately, Kevin's not. Kevin texted me yesterday asking if I could record the show with him, or record a segment, and I just missed the text. Texted me on the show. That's not true. I didn't miss it. It's a bad habit, Lonzo, where if I don't answer a text immediately, that text doesn't get answered. It's not that I don't care about you. It's not that I don't want to give you an answer to a question. It's just that if I stop looking at a thing, that thing ceases to exist for me. All right? So if you've ever emailed me or texted me and I don't hit you back immediately, I just blank. I just forget. It is what it is. Anyway, so one of the things that I've loved about this area is the local sports scene. And not just the local sports scene, but the passion for the clubs around here that people have. Greenville Triumph play their final home regular season match tomorrow. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Legacy Early College, taking on the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Chattanooga, number 2 on the table. A full 3 points would bump the Triumph up to number 2 and earn them a first-round home bye. Or a first-round playoff bye. It'd be big. I'm out yesterday. I'm having this conversation. I mentioned the Triumph. And there's another guy at the table, like one table on the other side of the two people I'm talking to, who looks over and he's like, hey, I'm going to that game. Said, you been to one before? He goes, no, I have not, but I've heard so much about it. He said, I've got a couple of friends who have gone to some of these games, and he says they're a blast. I'll tell you they are. And the same is true of the Drive. The same is true of the Swamp Rabbits. The same is true of the Spartanburgers. Furman and Wofford put on a heck of an entertaining show when they're at home. I've enjoyed all of it. I know I've said this before. We are very fortunate to have the teams that we have in this area because I have been and worked in a lot of places. And I can tell you that a lot of teams, right, they have one focus, which is how do we get money? Which is, yeah, of course they do. That's any business. I mean, there's no team running anywhere that's not in the goal of making money. But I have never seen so many teams locked into one area that are as committed to not just being in, but being a part of the community as you guys have here, as we have here in the GSP. Across the entire listening area. I've never been at a place that have such. You'll get lucky in most cities if you have a team that is committed. A team that is committed. We got like 9. And it's great. I'd go so far as to tell you that the majority of people that I have become friends with in this community have come through sporting events. have come from the Triumph, have come from the Swamp Rabbits, both in and out of the front office, in and out of the stands, on and off the field. It's been tremendous. So I mentioned the Triumph. Final game tomorrow, Chattanooga Red Wolves. Winner jumps up to winner holds number 2 on the table. If it's a draw, the Triumph stay at number 3. Winning 3 points, they jump up to number 2. Lose and give 3 to Chattanooga, and the Triumph are sticking at number 2, potentially dropping to number 4 on the table with one away match left to go. Be there. All right, be there. The goal is to sell out Legacy early. This will be the most attended Triumph game of the year, right? The most well-attended Triumph game of the year. In fact, last I checked, I want to say they were bordering on about 100 tickets left. Place is going to be rocking tomorrow night. Can't wait to be there. Look for the good guy playing this, good-looking guy playing the snare drum of the drum line. You'll know him. It's me. And if you're going to that match, come say hi. Come see me. I'll be in 110. Come up and say hello. Seriously. I love getting the chance to meet people at these events. Anyway, go to that game. Go to the Swamp Rabbits start their season at home next weekend. Friday and Saturday, back in the well against the Jacksonville Icemen. Go to that game. I dare you not to have a great time. I dare you not to have a good time at those games. They are a blast, man. They genuinely are. We are so lucky to have it. Texter says, hey, Rob, possibly unpopular opinion. A bunch of decent minor league teams is better than one crappy pro team. It's cheaper. It's easier to take the family, etc. Lonzo, I agree with that. I agree with that. I love being so close, right in the middle of so many pro teams, right? You got the Braves, you got the Hawks, you got Atlanta United, 2 hours in the ATL. You got the Panthers. You got the Hornets. You got Charlotte FC, an hour and a half north of us. We are right in the middle. You got professional racetracks, NASCAR tracks. I think there's like 5 within a 5-hour drive.
I've never lived in a town with a crappy pro team, so I can't really say for sure, but I do know the teams around here are awesome. Have you lived in a town with a crappy pro team?
I was a kid when I lived in New Orleans, so technically, yes, but I was also a kid, so they were just the greatest thing since sliced bread. Outside of that, yes, I lived in Jacksonville for 6 months.
I was trying to give you the opportunity to slam Jacksonville, even though I am sick.
Jacksonville sucks.
There we go.
Jacksonville sucks. Jacksonville sucks. The Jags suck. The Icemen suck. I don't hate minor league teams because I get it. They're all dudes trying to make it, right? Trying to make it to the league or taking their money. Texture says, Rob, you have lived in Jacksonville. They know. You know. I don't hate all minor league teams because I get it. Most of those dudes are just trying to make a living doing their passion, and I respect that. That's what I'm doing. That's what I do. Except the Jacksonville Icemen. You suck because you have Jacksonville in your shirt. Not here. Not here. Our teams are awesome. Our teams are great. They're a blast. The experiences are good. I have yet to find, and I'm not blowing smoke here. I have yet to go to a sporting event in this area. And as Lonzo has said about me many times, it is very challenging to find a situation in which Rob Brown can't make a good time out of it, right? I will throw a post-funeral party if I am allowed to do it. Very few situations that Rob Brown can't turn into a good time, except anything that happens in Jacksonville. But I have yet to go to a sporting experience here in the GSP that I did not have a good time at. Yet to go to one. The Bits, the Triumph, the Drive, Wofford, Furman. Still have yet to make it to a Clemson game or South Carolina. It's funny to me, though, that the only 2 big teams in the area I have not made an appearance at yet are the 2 major D1 big-time P5 schools.
It's because you have the opportunity to go to the other things that you talked about, and you go to those first.
Yeah, there's so much else to do here. And that's not to say they aren't on the radar. They are. As a matter of fact, your boy, like 92% chance, will be at the Clemson, South Carolina game on Thanksgiving weekend. In fact, I rearranged. I was going to go back home for Thanksgiving. I'm staying here for Thanksgiving because I'm pretty relatively sure I'll be at Clemson, South Carolina. That'll be my first Willie B experience. I don't know if you can do better than that for the first time at Willie B. But there's so much good stuff here, man. So much good stuff here. If you haven't made it out, Saturday night, Triumph at home, Chattanooga. Next Friday and Saturday, Swamp Rabbits back in the well against the Icemen of Jacksonville. If you don't come to love on the Bitzo, come to hate on Jax. Do it for Rob Brown. Texas says Jax is a great city to live in and no state income tax. Let me tell you about every other city in Florida, all right? There's no state income tax there either, and Jacksonville sucks. Jax Beach is okay. That city, waste. Turn it back into a swamp. It's better off as a swamp than a city. All right, so point of all that, see you at the Triumph game tomorrow night. See you at the Triumph game tomorrow night. Last game of the season. If you can, get your Section 110 tickets. That's where the supporter section is. That's where we have the most fun. But if that's a little too much for you, I understand. Grab your tickets, come out. Go be a good time. Let's take a break. When we come back here in a minute, Lonzo and I looked through some of the bigger games of the weekend. We gave you our picks of the weekend yesterday for our money line picks. Now we start breaking down ramifications of the college and NFL world. Coming up at 2:20, Fanboy Friday. Lonzo and I break through all the pop culture, music, movies, video games that we don't talk about off the air until Friday. And then Twitter trending topics to wrap it up with the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Regarding the 76ers and point guard Ben Simmons. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Simmons plans to meet with medical professionals for an evaluation after telling the team today he wasn't mentally ready to play to his expectations and needed some time to step away. Simmons met separately with Doc Rivers, the coach, and medical staff and teammates this morning. The team continues to offer Simmons whatever resources are necessary to assist him. Philly tonight hosts Brooklyn in its home opener. Coverage tips off with NBA Countdown 7 Eastern, ESPN TV, and the ESPN app. NFL Buccaneers receiver Antonio Brown out against the Bears Sunday with an ankle injury. Tampa will also be without the injured tight end Rob Gronkowski and inside linebacker Levante David. Baseball, Astros can advance to the World Series with a win over the Red Sox. Game 6 of the ALCS tonight, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio.
From the Eagles Market Studios, is ESPN Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Proper technology and experience.
Throw in a bottle of port.
You are a truth teller.
/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You might not be not sure. Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. Common. About 40% of men experience it by age 40. But the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor at first.
Only other bad part about allergy medicine that barely works is you feel like bugs are crawling through your hair.
I don't think that's medicine, Lonzo. I think that's meth.
I have. I'll take your word for that. But I've talked to some other people who, when they take sinus medication, it feels like bugs crawling through their hair. So I know it's not just me. I don't know what causes that, but
The meth?
No.
Actually, I think there is methamphetamine in sinus medication.
There might be.
So Somebody has put a ream of paper on my table.
Yeah, that's what threw me off. So
the problem is, ordinarily to make it, I hit the corner of the table and I slide it off the edge and it drops in. But there's no slide here. If I come off the angle of the paper so high, if I hit the top of the paper, it's going to slide past the trash can. So now I have like no room for error unless I call glass and go off the wall. That's what I'm going to do. Glass. Kobe.
That's exactly why I missed you last night at bowling.
Because there's a switch, and it's either unbridled joy over the strike or just raging anger over anything that's not a strike.
Yes. The nines were plentiful last night.
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
They have been, man.
They the lane was cleaned again this time, but
Yeah.
it was very slippery at the end right before the delivery.
Okay.
And
So little break on the ball.
no, I'm talking about your feet.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
it's like it was the other week.
No,
when
no,
worse
it's
than that?
worse. Yeah.
I thought I was going to eat it a couple of times.
Well, the
last
other week I was good with that. All the scores went up that week.
Yeah.
For everybody. This time it was like there was a lot of hopping, and when you come down from the hop, you're a little worried that that the other foot may go bye-bye too.
Yeah, that 2 weeks ago, right after they cleaned it, I had to like coming into the throw. I got to the point where I found that I was actually sinking down on the release, so that when I slid, I had my center of gravity lower.
QC Kinetics. Next break. QC Kinetics.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you be a part of the show at 844 GSP ESPN. Take a look at some of the college football games coming up this weekend. Talk about some of the things we're keeping an eye on as we get ready for this weekend. and look, I asked Lonzo yesterday, what was your reaction to the announcement that Clemson was a 3.5-point underdog to the Pitt Panthers this weekend? It comes down to this for me, Lonzo. It comes down to this. If Clemson loses this game, there is no redemption for 2021, right? Because here's the thing. There's still I think Mark Ryan said he's got like an 80% confidence that Clemson still wins the ACC, if not higher. And I think that's probably fair, right?
Well, except for, and I know some of these fans are out there because I've met them, way too many of them. Even if they were to lose this game and the season would be over in a sense, as long as they beat Carolina, they'll be okay.
I mean, is it though?
No, it's not. But to them.
No, it's not. If Clemson's sitting at 4-2, 3-1 in conference, loses to Pitt. By the way, Pitt 5-1, 2-0 in conference. All right, it's not wildly impressive. They beat a bad UMass team, 51-7. They did beat Tennessee, and Tennessee's had a decent season. They lost to Western Michigan, though. That's the loss.
That powerhouse of Western Michigan.
What's the Western Michigan mascot, Lonzo? That's your neck of the woods.
I think it's that was, yeah. I mean, I know I'm sick and everything, but that hurt, man.
I'm at the Midwest.
I don't know.
The Broncos, Western Michigan Broncos beat Pitt. But then the next week, 77 on New Hampshire. They smoked Georgia Tech, who took Clemson to the wire, right? Don't fall for the transitive property of football, but we can compare and contrast. They smoked Virginia Tech. And now back inside the top 25, they host Clemson, 3.5-point favorites in that one. Pittsburgh left ahead of them, left ahead of Pitt after the Clemson game. They have Miami, should be a win. Duke should be a win. UNC should be a win. Virginia should be a win. And Syracuse should be a win. Pitt is an 11-1, 10-2 football team coming out of the Coastal. Wake Forest leads the Atlantic Division right now. Wake Forest has beat Old Dominion, Norfolk State, Florida State, Virginia, Wake Forest, Syracuse so far this year. By the way, is there a Lonzo, is there an undefeated team in the country getting less respect than the Wake Forest Demon Deacons right now?
I was unaware that they were undefeated.
So yes is the answer.
Yes would be the answer.
Wake has got Army, win. Duke, win. UNC, win. NC State could be a loss. It's not a bad NC State team sitting at number 18 in the country. Wake's got Clemson, November 20th. Right now, Clemson a 3.5-point dog to Wake Forest too? I'd say yes.
We'll see what happens this weekend. It might be more.
I'm asking, I got you. So you're saying yes, and maybe it gets worse.
Exactly. Because if they were to go down to a Pitt this weekend.
Drop off a little more, could be 6.5-point dogs to Wake.
Yep, could be.
Wake Forest, and then Boston College to end the year. Wake Forest is an 10-2, 11-1 win team. Now, granted, shaker of salt and all this because that was my knee hitting the table. Sorry about that.
I was more worried about the table.
I know you were.
And the board and the board that sits on top of it and other things.
That's on me. Wake Forest could end this year. Mark asked on Offsides the other day. Offsides, of course, airs right here on ESPN Upstate from 3 to 7 every day. Most interactive sports talk radio show in the state.
Best bowler in the building on that show.
I couldn't make it last night, so I couldn't reclaim that. Next Thursday, I've already cleared the schedule for next Thursday. I'm coming back. The redemption tour is on. We got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks for me to catch Diesel. Diesel smoked us last week, and apparently smoked Lonzo last night.
See,
Lonzo's playing hurt though.
There's no smoking to it, but he did win.
Lonzo's playing hurt. Wake Forest could be an 11-1 team this year, honestly. Football's weird. You never know. But they'll be favored in every game remaining this year. Wake Forest will. Clemson included. Clemson loses to Pitt. I know a lot of folks called Mark Ryan's show when he asked the question and said, do you think Clemson still wins the ACC? And it was like overwhelmingly, yes, it's such a bad conference that they will undoubtedly still win the Atlantic Coast Conference and go to the Orange Bowl. I'll tell you, Lonzo, I'm about 33% on that. About 33% on that. They're behind NC State, who, by the way, has the tiebreaker over them. And NC State's behind Wake Forest, who's playing good football right now. I mean, relatively speaking, it's still not a good conference. But Clemson's third in the division right now. Third in the division. Third in the division. Overall, they are 5th in the conference because Virginia's played 5, has 5 wins. So a half game up. I know a lot of y'all said, Clemson's still going to win the ACC. I got to tell you right now, I don't think so. I don't think that, forget the ACC, Lonzo, I don't think they win their division because if they win the Atlantic, they're going to have to line up against Pittsburgh again, who will have seen them at that point. Win or lose this weekend, Pittsburgh will have already seen them. I don't have the confidence they even win the ACC now. And if they don't, I tell you, good luck recruiting next year. Hey, kid. Hey, 4-star. Come play for us. We were 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th in the ACC. Good luck getting that kid out of Georgia. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
QC Kinetics.
Our friends at QC Kinetics know. They know. Why? Because so many of them have been there, and it happens to all of us. That joint pain can ruin your life. I don't mean like make you depressed. I mean, it might, but it can ruin your life because not only do you have to deal with the pain every time you do a thing, but you also have to deal with the pain and the fear of the pain, the consciousness, the awareness of the fact that after you do this thing you're looking forward to, then you got to deal with the pain afterwards, and it kind of takes the fun out of doing those things, and they don't want you to have to deal with that. They don't want you to have to deal with that. So QC Kinetics offers non-surgical regenerative therapies. That is correct. Non-surgical regenerative therapy. They offer therapy to you that you go in, you meet Dr. Richard Schaefer, MD. You learn about the process. You're in, you get the non-surgical regenerative therapy, and you're right back out. You're back to your day-to-day. You don't have to worry about the pain anymore. You don't have to worry about the fear of the pain. And you're going to feel better, faster, naturally without surgery moving forward. What else could you ask for? Go to their website at qckinetics.com, qckinetics.com. You can learn all about the science behind their regenerative therapies there. Or give them a call right now at 864-448-3772, 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get that first consultation for free with our friends at QC Kinetics.
Your clients know that because Sure Investments is a good union. We're there for our clients. No, we do it because it's the right thing. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them. Get to know them how? We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle, so we can tailor their.
So tonight, I think I'm gonna have to bust out the Vicks Vapor Rub.
Oh, that's when you know it's serious.
Yeah.
We don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients.
That's when you know it's bad.
FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly,
Especially since it takes a while to truly get that off your skin after you're,
Smell like eucalyptus for a year.
No, smell like old people. That's what you smell like.
Get your free credit scores and find the right credit card for you at Credit Karma.
Although if I have to choose that smell or mothballs, I'll go with that smell.
surfaces are sanitized for up to 24 hours. Touch after touch.
So 6 hours from now?
Still sanitized.
I'm not to make a major decision tomorrow if I wake up and my voice is like this. I don't know if I can.
You ready to cancel a show before?
No. I've also had help. So to the point where someone, Chris could carry it. He didn't need me.
Right.
Could be an emergency call. I wonder if I get in trouble for that. No, I'm speculating live on Facebook, but
Life is life.
Hey, has anyone seen a ferret around here? Found it. Dig into Amazon's epic daily.
Jurassic Quest is coming to Greenville.
Cool.
It's a life-size dinosaur exhibit.
He's been here before.
Has it?
Something like that, yeah. I wonder what Silver would think about that. You don't know with little kids if they're gonna just totally freak out or
terrifying.
Might need therapy later on in life. I could do the old, we're going to replay some of our best interviews from this entire year, which I've got some in the can if I wanted to. I can also do songs. I got several songs I can do that I've got recorded.
All right, putting a bow on hour number 2. Texter says, ESPN, Army lost by 6 points to Wisconsin last week and runs a triple option. You don't think Wake can easily blow this game at Army? I do. Oh, no. Army's one of them tricky teams, man. And they got some athletes. They got some hosses. But Wake will be favored in the game. Texter says, does Clemson being tonight have any bearing on the game? We have 10 seconds. Let's talk about that on the other side, shall we? Rob Alonzo, you. It's ESPN Upstate. It's tomorrow, by the way. Yeah, I was like, what? They played last Friday. Back after this.
We'll say in my snot riddle brain, I thought that was last week. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that game's tomorrow.
NASCAR running Kansas Speedway this weekend. The Xfinity Series and the ARCA Series will each run on Saturday, and then the Cup Series with the Hollywood Casino 400 on Sunday. After the next 2 races in the Cup Series, the current group of 8 playoff drivers will be cut down to 4, and those 4 will compete for a Cup Series championship. Right now, the 4 drivers who are above the cut line, Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch, while Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr., and Joey Logano are below the cut line. The starting lineup announced earlier in the week as Kyle Larson is starting from pole, being joined in the front row by Ryan Blaney. Download the Score app today, lightning fast sports alerts, so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard of the Rob Brown Show?
Native American inspired dress and war paint will not be allowed in the stadium. Actually says, so how long are the entrance lines going to be at Washington football team games while they police all of this?
Are they having seminars with their employees to say, okay, we got the overhead projector going? And
I'm pretty sure that a reasonable individual can look at a person and determine whether or not they're wearing eye black or mock war paint.
you're 16 years old, you're working the stadium, do you really care that much? And are you confused and you have to go get your manager? Hey man, I'm not quite sure. It's on one side of his face, meaning it was on both sides. So is one side okay? And her makeup looks kind of like war paint, but she may just be like a Tammy Faye Baker disciple. I don't know. I need help.
Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
Congratulations to the Week 8 Player of the Week, Nemo Cochran. Nemo Cochran Woodruff had 4 receptions for 129 yards and 4 touchdowns on Friday as Woodruff crushed Emerald 42-6. Again, congratulations to the ESPN Upstate Player of the Week, Nemo Cochran.
ESPN Upstate High School Player of the Week. The gridiron coverage is at ESPNUpstate.com. Warning. Check this out. Your unofficial Rob Brown Lockdown. Real, unfiltered sports talk. Locally for the Carolinas. The Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina, the final hour of broadcasting here this week. Be a part of the show, 844-GSP, ESPN, Texas on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Start your text with ESPN. We'll read it on the air. Tweet us for the Rob Brown Show, at the Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo Onward, and at ESPN Upstate. Follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate as well. And you can email me, Rob Brown, at ESPNUpstate.com. Rob Brown, all one, well, not all one word. It's 2 names, but smudged together, no period, no space in the middle.
Which kind of makes it one word, doesn't it?
It's not a word, though. It's a name. There's a difference.
Yeah, but if there's no space, it's one word.
Rob Brown, 2 B's. Rob Brown at ESPNUpstate.com. All right. Texter says, in 2010, Alabama lost 3 games, then won the national championship the next year. It's not a doom and gloom situation for Clemson. Love your show. Well, first off, thank you very much. Appreciate that sincerely. Thank you for listening and being a part of it. Let me be abundantly clear here. Lonzo, I by no means saying that if Clemson doesn't win the ACC, the dynasty's fallen, right? I'm not saying it's over.
You know, I would love to say that, but I can't. I mean, I think this season is an anomaly. I don't think they're going to go back to what they once were. Now, if it happens for 2 seasons, we can talk about that then. But for now, you just got to believe that this is one of those seasons where things didn't go quite the way they wanted them to, and they'll be back next year.
Yeah, I mean, look, you mentioned the exact case scenario there, right? Like Alabama loses 2010, come back, win the 2011 national championship. By the way, trivia question that came up at my trivia game last night, Lonzo. What state is the most recent state to see two different schools win consecutive national championships? What state's the last state to see two separate schools win consecutive national championships?
Consecutive, that means
One and then the next 1 year, then the next year.
well, it can't be South Carolina.
It is not South
Because
Carolina.
Clemson didn't win 2
Correct.
years in a row. So
That two separate schools.
right.
One school wins it 1 year, another school in the same state won it the next year.
See, I want to say Alabama, but it's not. Because it could be Alabama and it could be Auburn. We're just talking about one sport or
One sport, football.
just
College football
football.
national championship. The last state that had one team win it 1 year and then another team win it the very next year.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Alabama then.
That is correct. That is correct. Auburn 2010, Alabama 2011.
Was that the Cam Newton?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, for the record, I don't think the dynasty is over. I don't think the dynasty is over. I think the dynasty is being challenged. For the record, I'm also not saying it's not over, right? I'm not saying it is or is. I don't know. I'm interested to see how this coaching staff responds, how Dabo responds in the offseason.
2 years would be a trend. 2 years would be
Correct.
2 years would be a problem. If they end up worse or the same as they are this year, next year, then you really need to worry.
Yeah. Concurred. Agreed. If it happens again next year, the dynasty's over. I'm not saying it is right now. I'm saying I genuinely don't know, right? Like I genuinely don't know. Because we don't know how this, I don't know how this coaching staff's going to respond. We haven't seen them have to do it before. This coaching staff has been built, was built from the ground up, rebuilt, and have been at the top of the game for years. For years now. When was the last time Clemson played played a game as an unranked team? 2014? That's unbelievable. 3 classes of kids came and went through Clemson since the last game where that team played a game as an unranked team. Okay? I'm not saying what's been built is over. I'm saying they haven't had to respond to a situation like this one. Nick Saban has, and we know how he responds to it, right? He goes and gets a bunch of guys to be analysts that know what they're doing, brings them in, they put the solutions on the table. He pays attention to the details, and he gets it right. Dabo hasn't had to do this before, with the exception of the initial building process. So I think listen, we have a job here. We have a job here, which is to issue opinions. Sometimes I don't have one. My opinion is that it's too early to make an opinion. That is what did Rush say? If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Bump. I don't have an opinion because I don't know. I haven't seen them deal with this. If I'd seen Dabo go through a couple of, when I say bad year, I'm not talking with a playoff loss or a national championship loss. I'm talking about a bad year, like losing 3 or 4 games. Forget winning the ACC title game. Right now, they might not make the ACC championship game. I have not had to see Dabo bounce back from a situation like this, so I don't know how he does. There are a lot of people in a lot of jobs that are very good at their job, but they're not used to adversity and don't know how to handle adversity. I'm not saying Dabo's not. I'm saying we don't know yet. Haven't really had to see him go through adversity yet. Losing a playoff game, losing a championship game is not adversity, okay? It's unfortunate, but it's not adversity. Adversity is having, 6 guys go into the transfer portal in the last year. 4 of whom were supposed to be contributors. Adversity is being an unranked team and an underdog for the first time since 2014 on the road at a Panther team that has been the butt of many jokes over the past years. That's adversity. Adversity is losing on the road to NC State and then not bouncing back and putting up 45 the next week. We haven't really seen him go through adversity yet. How does he handle it? I don't know. I can speculate. I can guess. I can tell you what I do. Just make some coaching changes. I'd be changing out some coordinators, some coaches. But I don't know. Remember, the whole thing is family, right? You know what the old saying about business and family is, don't you, Lonzo?
Not supposed to mix those.
Correct. Tony Elliott's his guy. Is he willing to pull the trigger on getting rid of Tony Elliott? A guy that he likes because he's family, but the offense is stagnant this year? Because Nick Saban does, right? Nick Saban pulls the trigger and gets him a new coordinator. We've seen him do it. Does Dabo do that, or does he stick to the family thing? I don't know. 844-GSP-ESPN. Chris is on the line to talk a little Clemson ball. Chris, welcome to the show, buddy. Great to have you.
What's up, fellas? Thank you so much for having me on. And as a quick caveat to the Clemson game this week of being a road dog, they're a road dog to an opponent that lost a home game this year to Western Michigan.
Yep, the mighty Broncos.
The mighty Broncos of directional Michigan schools. So interesting there. But really, when it comes to Clemson and the quote-unquote dynasty that they have, it's rather interesting when you take a look at the rise of Clemson football. And, of course, the talent has been overwhelming, certainly as compared to years past. And they've proven themselves well on the national stage. But there isn't a coincidence that it overlaps with the decline in the ACC, specifically with the program that is Florida State. Very similar to what we saw with South Carolina when they had the magical years of Steve Spurrier. And when South Carolina fans want to pine for the era of Steve Spurrier, what they need to pine for is for Georgia and Florida to take a step back, for Tennessee to get back to the program that they were post-Philip Fulmer when they were struggling. That's what creates the environment that allows a team that, if you get a influx of talent, which certainly Clemson and during that era South Carolina had, you can then take advantage of it because those other traditional powers are down. Clemson's dynasty, and again, quote unquote, will continue within the ACC after a blip of this year until somebody else proves they can fill the void within that conference. Because they're going to be the most talented team in the conference until somebody else steps up, till the coaching gets better within the conference, and they will still continue to have the easiest path to make the college football playoff. Now, whether or not they succeed once they get there, obviously will remain to be seen. But the easiest path will always be in Clemson, South Carolina, as long as the ACC continues to be at a point where it's struggling and, quite frankly, a bit of a laughingstock amongst the Power 5 conferences.
So you're saying to some degree that the rise of the, and I'm air quoting because of the way you said it, Clemson dynasty, are you saying that the majority of the reason for it is because the ACC after FSU post-2013 title fell off, that it's just been a power vacuum and Clemson's taken advantage of the fact that there's really been nobody else in the conference to challenge them?
I think if you were looking at it as a pie chart and you're listing out the reasons, I think the largest chunk of the pie would be the decline of what is around in the ACC, simply because having that 1 or 0 losses on your resume allows you more opportunities to be into the playoff. And so playing within a conference where you don't have many threats to you, it allows you more and more shots to get into the playoff. And by proxy, it allows you more shots at getting wins within the playoff when you get good matchups with teams.
Fair enough. Chris, appreciate it, man. Great to have you on the show. Appreciate you checking in. That's an interesting take. Hey, look, Clemson's been good. They got trophies. All right, they got hardware. But he says, Lonzo, they have trophies and success because there's just been nobody else throwing punches in the ACC.
I mean, you can look at it that way, but you need to also look at the fact that they went to national championship games and won those.
Sure, they've won playoff games against good teams.
Yeah, so I mean, to a certain degree, I think he's right.
But the argument in that comes from that's true, but Ohio State had to play through a Big Ten. Alabama had to play through the SEC. Clemson doesn't take a hefty punch until the playoffs.
Well, that's what people have said for years, and they're absolutely right. But it's not Clemson's fault.
Sure, I agree. Cam is up next to keep the conversation rolling. Cam, thanks for checking in. Great to have you on the show, bud. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John. He's right. I mean, when you have 11 or 12 practice games before you get to the playoff, that's going to happen. But Clemson's dynasty is going to be over because, number one, when all this was starting to build, they had Deshaun come in there, Deshaun Watson, and they had a good thing going. Then they had the best quarterback come walking in the very next cycle. That doesn't happen a lot, hardly ever. And I don't see that happening again. DJ doesn't really have the manpower in front of him this year. And with the ACC, I don't think the ACC is any different than it was 10 years ago. Everybody's just Clemson's just not good. And the ACC is just not that good. And Florida State, when they dropped off in 2013, who rose up to the challenge? Well, it was Clemson. But they had two high-profile quarterbacks and two great recruiting classes, and they took over for a little while. I don't see them doing that again. You can't, even if you've got the talent in the top 5 recruiting classes in the last 4 years and not compete in the ACC, there's something wrong.
Hey, Cam, I
start with coaching.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Great to have you on the show. Thanks for checking in. That is one thing, and I think he said it there at the end, and I've said something similar to it in the past, so I'm glad to hear somebody else say the same thing, which is, Lonzo, if Alabama has a 10-2 season in the SEC and they drop a game to Texas A&M and a game to Georgia, nobody asked the question, is this the collapse, right? Is this the beginning of the end? But when you drop a couple of games in the ACC, and I say a couple, they've dropped a couple so far, right? So far, they've dropped a couple.
You're right, because that's implying that it's not.
That they're done losing.
Yeah, and that may not be true.
I honestly, I don't think it is true. There's another L coming somewhere. This team offensively is bad. There's another L coming somewhere. They may very well be 9-3. They could be an 8-4 team at the end of the year. 9-3 in the SEC with Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M, Alabama and Nick Saban, Kirby Smart at Georgia, Dan Mullen at Florida, question mark. Coach O at LSU, question mark. Brent Harrison at Auburn, question mark. You lose 3 in that conference, and you can chalk it up as, oh, man, we just had a rough year and caught some teams looking at us on bad days. Lonzo, I'm sorry to say it, because I hate being in the middle of ACC country and saying this, but 8-4 in the ACC is not 8-4 in the SEC. It's not 8-4 in the Big Ten.
I was going to say it's not 8-4 in the Big Ten. Is it maybe Pac-12? I mean, there may be ACC. A lot of people believe is the worst conference in football.
It's the worst Power 5 conference.
Yeah,
it's the worst Power 5 conference, and I don't think there's much room for debate. Maybe I could argue the Pac-12 is a little down after but Oregon went and beat Ohio State, so they get some bonus points. UCLA is not a bad football team. We all kind of thought USC was going to be better than there. I can maybe make the argument. Well, let's say Wake Forest is undefeated. Pitt's a one-loss team. Granted, it was an atrocious loss, but a one-loss team. I'd say the ACC is the worst Power 5 team, right? Or a Power 5 conference.
And it's been that. I mean, at least perception is that it is the worst.
Yeah, I think the ACC gets dunked on a lot because they share the footprint with the SEC, right? There's a lot more cross play between the SEC and ACC than most of the other Power 5. So I think they get dunked on partially geographically. If they didn't share so much of the footprint of the SEC, it might be a little different. The SEC fans love to make sure you know how much better their conference is than yours. And since they share backyards, it's easy to dunk on the ACC. But they are clearly an inferior product.
And I think it's that opinion for everywhere else in the country, because when Mark Ryan came here, he came here with the opinion of all cupcakes conference.
Yeah,
and
he's been that way since 2007, and you'll never change his
so
mind.
he brought that with him. And I do remember, and he's mentioned this on the air, we were discussing, he's like, I'm going to bring cupcakes. And I'm like, dude, that's not it. I don't think that's a good idea. And then we didn't end up doing it because I was not handing cupcakes to ACC coaches because we would have got kicked out of that building, which would have been kind of funny, but still a from somewhere else. People have that opinion coming into ACC country. There's a reason why that opinion's out there.
For the record, quick timeout. I don't believe that the ACC has been that bad for long. 2016, 2017, they were a good conference. 2013, the ACC, there were 2 or 3 years between like 07 and 2012. I think the ACC was better overall than the SEC. Just a couple of years. But there were 2 or 3 years.
That's more than a couple years.
Well, no, I meant like within that span, there were like 1 or 2 seasons where I think the ACC was overall top to bottom better than the SEC. Towards the end of Jimbo, the beginning of the rise of Dabo, I think the ACC had a couple of years where it was overall better than the not many, like 1 or 2. But, I've been hearing Mark Ryan say the All Cupcakes Conference since when we were together in like 2008, right? But we've had 2 callers now back to back, and the phone lines stay open at 844-GSP-ESPN. 2 callers back to back say Clemson's fall is exacerbated by the fact that the ACC sucks. It'd be one thing to go 9-8, come off a playoff year and then go 9-3 in the SEC or the Big Ten. But to do it in the ACC, 9-3 in the ACC looks like 7-5 in the Big Ten. Looks like 7-5 in the SEC. So maybe it's worth that fact that makes it sound like those 2 callers, Chris and Cam, both feel like the fallout is actually worse than it looks like it actually is. Clemson fans, looking for your response. 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. Texas says, ACC has only been bad since 2019. Quit talking like the conference has always been bad. Clemson won its 2016 national title in a tough ACC. Texas says, look at the results of Clemson's last 2 playoff games. Ouch. This is a 3rd year's trend. That's a good point, Lonzo. Could we chalk it up to Clemson really hasn't been that good the last 2 years? Look at the fact that they've been ramshacked in the playoffs. They just got a ticket punch because there was no competition on the schedule anywhere.
And they got preseason polls putting them up really, really high.
We start at 1 and then you play nobody for 12 games.
Yeah.
You don't go anywhere. But if you're Ohio State and you start at number 1 and then you got an Oregon, you got Penn State, you got Iowa and Iowa State looking down the barrel at you. A little tougher to punch that ticket to the dance. Some people saying Clemson started 2 steps ahead of everybody else, and that's why they have looked so dominant. But I'll also tell you, as this test, great timing, Texter. Texter says Clemson has 1 ACC loss. Make sure to mention that. So there, we've got one group of fans calling in saying, look, Clemson is not as good as this dynasty is made out to be because they're playing 12 nobodies and punching the ticket, whereas the other teams are having to play through better conferences and then walloping Clemson in the playoffs. So the fall is not as bad because it was never that high to begin with. This is not me jumping on Clemson. I'm reiterating the arguments of the last 2 callers and Clemson fans that are getting mad at me right now. Phone line's open, 844-GSP-ESPN. Take a break. We'll come back. We'll pick this up on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Okay, so are we doing it or are we not doing it?
Yeah, we can do it.
Don't matter to me. I just need to take the intro out if that's all. I think you're trying to confuse me.
So like you're just in a confused state of mind. Everything's
Rosario, there's 2 for 4. Max Fried gave up 5 runs on 8 hits in 4 2/3 innings. Prior to the game, the team does activate outfielder Jorge Soler from COVID list. He was a pinch hitter in the 8th inning and was striking out swinging. Today, an off day in the series. Game 6 tomorrow in Atlanta. Ian Anderson against Max Scherzer. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Congratulations to the Elite 8 Player of the Week, Nemo Cochran. Nemo Cochran of Woodruff had 4 receptions for 129 yards and 4 touchdowns on Friday as Woodruff crushed Emerald 42-6. Again, congratulations to the ESPN Upstate Player of the Week, Nemo Cochran.
The ESPN Upstate High School Player of the Week. The gridiron coverage is at ESPNUpstate.com.
Listen to Kelvin. What he's about to say could change your life.
6'2" and about 290. Lost weight fast. I trimmed down I'm about 235 and probably at about 190, maybe 50% body fat. I lost probably at least 50 pounds in probably 3.5, 4 months. My hands came back, skin was better. Obviously being a muscle, my muscle mass is pretty bad. Makes you surprised and awesome product for me who actually has and does what they say they will. That's awesome.
That's great, Kelvin. Losing that belly fat in less than 4 months is outstanding. Since 2004, Andro 400 has been changing men's lives, like Kelvin, and can help you lose belly fat, gain energy, and improve your lifestyle. We guarantee it. Go to andro400.com for more true testimonials, before and after photos, and special discounts. Only available on andro400.com. andro400.com.
Borderlands Comics and Games, proud sponsor of the Upstate Pulse, has been Upstate South Carolina's leader in comics and games for over 30 years. Borderlands has over 300,000 comics, graphic novels, and games. They also have the biggest variety of toys and collectibles around. Come check out the cool laid-back vibe. If you've never been to Borderlands,
Oh, crap, I gotta grab a drink.
what are you waiting for, man? 1434 Lawrence Road, and check them out on Instagram and Facebook.
Finding the right Medicare plan may feel impossible, but now it's anything but. With Walgreens Find RX coverage tool, you can compare plans online, on the phone, or in person, making Medicare easier than ever. Easier than picking which YouTube app to watch, figuring out that Wi-Fi password, or putting the duvet cover back on. So if you can do those things, with Find RX coverage, you can definitely Medicare. Find the plan that's right for you by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
Did you know the arrow in Amazon's logo represents A to Z? Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Spectrum Business knows small businesses are always looking to cut expenses. That's why we offer the best value on fast internet and phone. But we wanted to do more. So, how does 1 month free sound? Get 200 megabit per second internet for $49.99 a month and business phone for $19.99 a month. And right now, you can get 1 month of internet and phone and even TV for free. Call 855-258-5887 and switch to Spectrum Business. Restrictions apply.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment. Smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to the BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Did you know the arrow in Amazon's logo represents A to Z? Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career, working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. It's not rocket science. My Computer Career.
I keep seeing this video going around on Twitter where Edge is 18 years old.
Yeah, I saw that.
I haven't
Talking to
listened to
Hitman.
it yet. I gotta listen to it.
It's kind of cool.
Seeing what he looked like in 1992 and look at how haggard he looks now.
You got anything specific you want to talk about here?
No.
I'm just asking generally. I'm not asking if you
No.
I'm just asking if you have anything that you've thought of.
I would just love to be able to talk comfortably, but I can't do that. There are a few things, but if I talk about those, then I lose everything that I had for trending. So
When you hear the lightsabers clash, you know it's time for Fanboy Friday. You guys tell us all week stick to sports, and we do-ish. This is me and Lonzo's segment. This is where we talk about the nerdy stuff, the pop culture stuff, the movies, the music, the video games that have been catching our attention lately. Big day for Lonzo today. Gets to hook up the new rig at the house.
maybe.
Big day for Lonzo someday in the next 4 days as he may eventually feel good enough to hook up the new rig at the house.
Oh, like I'm not going to do. Just shout out to my wife who has, scoured the world looking for
Found him the new Xbox.
the new Xbox.
They're
and,
tough to find, too.
they're
That takes work.
Very tough to find. Don't come to the compound. We have dogs and security. But yeah, I cannot wait to hook the thing up. But the thing is, so now I will no longer be shamed by my children about the speed of my gaming console, which it's a real thing, man. And it hurts you on a nerd level that you didn't know existed when your own children are like, yeah, we got to wait for dad's system to catch up.
At least they can't hit you with your mom jokes.
Well, there's that.
know?
But still, I won't have to worry about that anymore. I am looking forward to seeing if I can tell a difference, which I've seen it on other people's TVs, mainly my children's TVs, and yeah, and it looks pretty good. So, but I'm waiting for to play some games that are exclusive to next gen to see what the difference is. I'm trying to downplay like I'm not really excited about it, but I am absolutely excited about it.
I'm trying to decide because they're not cheap, right? Let's just call it what it is.
No, they're not, and a lot of it has to do with the chip shortage because of COVID and a lot of things like that, and also a lot of those punks out there that went and bought as many as they could, and then they're raising the price and selling them on eBay. So.
Freaking scalpers, man.
Yeah, I know. I get. You could call them entrepreneurs if you want.
You could. You'd be wrong. They're scalpers.
Yeah, they're scalpers.
So I'm trying to decide where on the priority list to put, because I've been on the Xbox One I bought the Xbox One when they came out. All right, I think that's the first console I ever bought. Like drop day, I'm at GameStop.
Yeah, I always wait for price drop. So this. Yeah.
The one was the first one that I ever bought like on day of. Like I was there at, Thursday night lined up at 10 p.m. for the 4 a.m. intro, whatever it was. I'm trying to decide when I make the upgrade because my one still runs like a dream. No issues with it. Very, very little lag when I'm playing online. Processing speeds are still just fine. And the memory is a little cluttered. I've had to go back and delete some stuff I didn't necessarily want to delete to install new games. I just downloaded the Avengers game last week to play through that and had to delete like 4 or 5 other games to fill up the space. But that's as much to do with the fact that the games they're putting out now are huge files. So it makes it a little tough. I'm trying to decide when I want to because the Xboxes and the PlayStation 5s are still in so much demand right now that the prices aren't dropping for it, right? They're the same price now as they were when they debuted, and you still can't find them. So I've got to make 2 decisions, though. Number one is I'm contemplating shifting over to PlayStation. All right. I'm contemplating I can keep the Xbox One, get a PS5, have both. And then number 2 is, where do I put it on the priority list? Is it worth it for me to, let's say, next year I'm planning on taking the lady friend down to Mardi Gras for in New Orleans. Do I put that trip off to buy a video gaming system?
No.
And please don't tell her I said that, because I'll never hear the end.
No, you don't do that. If I were you, this is going to sound weird, but I would get a PS4 because and make sure that that's the change that you want to make, because you could probably find some refurb PS4s out there. And right now there's so little amount of exclusive games on the next gen to make you have to think, man, I got to find a way to move up, because everything is still, I think more so than any other generation of video games, they're still making stuff for PS4 and for Xbox One to the degree where I think a lot of people are like, yeah, well, why do I need to move up? There's not that one game that makes me go, man, that's it. I gotta hit the pawn shop and get rid of some of the stuff in my house so I can afford this. I haven't seen that game yet.
I've been watching some of the game rollouts. They rolled out some of the games that are coming out on Xbox when the next batch starts to drop. Say how frustrating it is that Skyrim Anniversary Edition number 15 is like in the net. They're like, big announcement, Skyrim Anniversary Edition is coming out. You got to do better. GTA, the package, right? Like all 5 GTA games are dropping. I own them all already. I don't need that. You got to give me some. The only reason that I'm thinking about switching is I think it is tough to argue that Xbox has a better game catalog than what PlayStation's coming out with lately.
But here's the other problem, though. Because of Game Pass and because of Xbox exclusive deal with Bethesda and some things like that, it's going to make it a little bit harder to play some of the games that you really love on PlayStation when they're exclusive to Xbox. And I think they're going to be doing that more. I think both sides are going to start doing that to a degree where you have to make a choice. Or if you make that killer talent salary that you make, just buy both.
When did that start happening? That
was sarcasm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Texter says, I will not get the new Xbox until my Xbox One dies. I bought a 1 terabyte hard drive. Yeah, I don't know. I'm stuck in that. I'm in the same spot, right? Like I'm in the same spot because I have the option of I can buy a big hard drive to attach to my Xbox One and make it brand new.
They don't cost that much. You can go to Walmart and get one between $50 and $100, depending on the size that you want.
I want to say like a 1 TBX. Let's see. I'm going to look it up while I'm talking about it. But I want to say a 1 terabyte Xbox hard drive is like $100 something, like just over $100 or something like that. It's not awful, and it makes your processing speed. I mean, it's like a brand new console.
And it's also if you need that much, because that's on top of what you already have.
Right.
So, which I on my one of those.
I'm thinking about it. Texter says, Rob, the new Fable is Xbox. I played it. I played the first Fable in college, and it was like it's still one of my comfort games. You know, sometimes you just fire up an old game for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah, I loved all 3 Fable games.
I mean, it's a good argument, but here's my thing. So do I go, because I'm assuming, and I'm making the assumption that Fable, I'm going to be able to play it on the 1, right? Does upgrading for a little bit better graphics make sense?
Well,
shifting over to PS5, having the 5 and the 1. I'm
not so sure that the new Fable is not going to be exclusive to the next gen. Yeah, and I believe, I'm almost positive that Starfield, which is the next big game from Bethesda, is going to be next gen only, and only on Xbox.
Skyrim in space, right?
Supposedly, yes.
I don't know, man. I put far too much into Skyrim to be somebody who has yet to actually complete the main game.
I
have yet to finish the game.
I have Skyrim on every conceivable thing, including I have it on Nintendo. I have it on Xbox One. I have it on PS4. I have it on everything. I have it on computer. I mean, I really love the game, is what I'm saying. So that might be the game that I play when I get the next gen hooked up today, because I should be able to tell the difference. But then the problem with that is I've also played it in VR on PS4. So I don't know. But Starfield, I was going to be trying to get a next gen for that. Now I don't have to.
Texas says, if you haven't dipped your toes yet, cloud gaming is the future. Microsoft/Xbox has a better setup than PlayStation. I have not used PlayStation. I have literally never owned a PlayStation. I've played on PlayStations because friends of mine have had it. So if you go to the house, you play on their PlayStation. But I've been Xbox since the OG Xbox dropped. And I just don't know where the crossover point is for me. I haven't hit it yet. But I think PS5 might be it. I may get a 5 because I'll be able to keep playing this. Here's the other part. If Xbox is just they're gonna go game update, Skyrim and GTA again, then I got no need. Now, if you start putting out some great games that are next gen only, that might be the pushing point. But they haven't done it yet. At least not that I've seen. And if I can play the new Fable over on the Xbox One, is it really worth the upgrade versus having the PS5 and the Xbox One, and I can put the one off for another year, or put the Xbox next gen off for another year? Might be. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Texas on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. Take a break, one more segment, then Twitter to wrap it up on a Friday. It's the Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
Just one more home match remains in the Greenville Triumph Soccer Club's 2021 regular season. It's Fan Appreciation Night this Saturday, October 23rd at 7 p.m. as the Triumph take on the Chattanooga Red Wolves at Legacy Early College in West Greenville. Get your tickets and cheer on the Triumph as they march toward the playoffs. Tickets start at just $10. It's going to be a sellout, so get your tickets today at TriumphTix.com. That's TriumphTix.com. Greenville Triumph. Go for the goals. Stay for the triumph.
Relax on and off the field with Founders Federal Credit Union. With services like Founders Online and Founders App, you'll enjoy all the perks of a big bank with local personalized service. If you're looking for low rates, look to Founders. Not a member? Joining Founders Federal Credit Union is very easy. Visit RelaxJoinFounders.com or one of our more than 30 office locations to see if you qualify for membership. Services require credit evaluation. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
Restrictions may apply. Coverage may vary. Take my call for details. Look, one mistake for everyone right now. It's been a tough year, and you sure don't need to get hit with a big, unexpected bill. Like, what if your car gets stolen right now? How are you paying the bill? If it's your transmission, that's over $3,000. Your engine. If you have a car, truck, or SUV that's $19.99 or newer, you can start paying for repairs right now. That's right. With Protect My Car, when your car breaks down, we pay your repair bill for you. Just dial 800-279-2827 on your mobile phone now to get started. Protect My Car pays for repairs to your engine, transmission, air conditioning, suspension, and so much more. Dial 800-279-2827 and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Dial 800-279-2827 on your mobile phone right now and get free roadside assistance, free towing, free car rental, and free oil changes. Dial 800-279-2827 and never pay for car repairs again. Dial 800-279-2827.
According to research, 82% of people will remember radio ads. So, 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will note that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5.
Another test will see if it can play 4K Blu-ray, which it's supposed to. The Xbox One is supposed to play 4K, and it doesn't, because I got the Lord of the Rings trilogy on Blu-ray, and it starts playing, and then it just. So I want to see if it handles that. It used to be if you liked a certain style of game, you want a PlayStation. If you like the other style,
See, Xbox was always better for the sports games, I thought. But I've got PlayStation friends who vehemently disagree with me. It's hilarious to me that we got more text today about video games, consoles than we got about football. Anything we talked.
I wonder what the percentage of sports fans are that are gamers, because I think it's a pretty high
I was
percentage.
going to say it's got to be a hefty crossover.
It's the other thing. This comes with the new Madden. I may throw that. I haven't played Madden in forever, but just to see what it looks like on there.
All right, rolling towards the end of a show on a Friday afternoon. My name is Rob Brown. Lonzo at the helm. 844-GSP, ESPN 844-477-3776 is the number. The Dolphins look like they could be completing a trade with the Houston Texans. Reports coming out, including from Shefty, ? That the Dolphins and the Texans are very close. They are in serious negotiations, I believe is how you say it in Spanish, to send the former Clemson star out to Miami, where he would replace Tua Tagovailoa. Just say, you're a Dolphins fan, you should not be thrilled about this, okay? You should not. We know how good Deshaun Watson is. We know how good he is. But you got a couple of things going wrong here. Number one, those of you that are dismissing Tua Tagovailoa as a failure, I think that you're a bit premature in that, okay? I think you're a bit premature in that. I don't think it's quite time for that just yet. I think that Tua Tagovailoa has had health issues that have prevented him from reaching his full potential. And I think that those need to be allowed to work themselves out. And it may just be that Tua is an injury-prone quarterback, in which case, okay. But I think you got to play the game with what you got. Just keep in mind, you're looking at 5 first-round draft picks for Deshaun Watson. That's what the asking price was. Has that come down now because it seems like there are literally 0 teams intrigued at taking Deshaun out of Houston right now? The Panthers have dropped out completely. The Broncos have dropped out completely. It's only Miami. So maybe Miami can get it down to 2 first-rounders. But the other thing that's gone by the wayside is my dude's got 22 civil suits lined up against him right now that we know about, right? If a conviction comes down the line at some point, which is a possibility, believe the HPD still has a criminal investigation open. If a conviction comes down the line, which it might, what's the penalty for Deshaun Watson going to be? Right? With 22 of these. I think, though I do not know for sure, I think the NFL is about to hit a tipping point where they have to actually start suspending players for a season longer if there is a criminal conviction of sexual assault like Deshaun is staring down right now. Point is, this dude might not be able to play he's not playing this year. That'd be my other question. If Miami brings him in, because he is on the active roster, he could be playing. If Miami brings him in, do they dress him out? Do they take that heat?
That's what I was going to say. You don't bring him in if you're not going to play him. You don't trade for him if you're not going to play him. If Miami trades for him, he's playing. And they'll just have to deal with the repercussions of that. There's no way that you would trade for a player under fire the way he is if you weren't just going to play him right away. Because what's the point of trading him? You're trading for someone to get in there right now. So there's no way they go after him if they're not going to play him right now.
You'd think if they bring him in, it's because they got the mind to put him under center. You'd think. But again, what happens if they put him under center and then 6 weeks from now, it's week 14, and the HPD comes out and says, yeah, he doesn't live here anymore, but we did some investigating and we're bringing charges to the table, right? If you're Stephen Ross, that looks atrocious. And you got if Tua Tagovailoa, and again, I'll be real with you, I think Tua is going to end up being an average NFL quarterback. Not good, not bad. It's going to be like a poor man's Russ Wilson. If he ends up being an average quarterback, it is what it is. But if he ends up elevating and being above average, not great, but above average, How valuable, Lonzo, are 3 or 4 or 5 first-round picks over the next 4 years? I'd say that's big. What happens if you stumble into a Jamar Chase like they just paired up with Joe Burrow, and now they are the most successful quarterback wide receiver in the NFL through week 6? All you need is one Jamar Chase, and maybe Tua breaks out. Is that worth the risk? To me, it's not. To me, it's not.
Well, with Schefter reporting it, we don't know if he got permission to actually report it or not. So there's that. But if reports are true, there's no way they bring him in and not play him.
Desmond Howard has said that his upset alert this weekend is Wake Forest on the road against Army. I'm fine with that. That's going to get dicey. If you're a Clemson fan, you're going hard in the paint for Army this weekend. You got to be. Let's take a break. When we come back, Twitter trending topics wraps up our week O broadcasting on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
I really don't feel that bad. It's just stupid coughing.
Well, if you've been to an orthopedic surgeon, you know the drill. Pain meds, steroids, physical therapy, right? When those Band-Aids don't work, you know what's next. Surgery. Major surgery.
John Boy and Billy here saying don't do it, not until you check out QC Kinetics. Get a second opinion. Learn all about these.
Did you see on the stream that Josh actually won an Xbox and sold it?
And sold?
Won a PlayStation. Guy from 1 to 2, but switched to Xbox and 360. But when PS4 came out, I'm back on PlayStation. They both. I won an Xbox One X from Taco Bell. It was supposed to be 4K, but it didn't have 4K TV, so I sold it for. First off, you probably could have got 7 for it.
4K TVs are not really that expensive either, but I mean they are, but they're not.
I don't think mine.
There really is a difference.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Because my brother has a 4K TV, and then he said it's so good that he pays the extra like
$5 a month because YouTube TV offers a exclusive 4K sports channel. So any outlets that broadcast on 4K, you can get them on a YouTube TV exclusive channel in 4K.
There is a depth to it that is very.
That's what he said. That's exactly what he said too.
The first time I played a game in 4K actually was Skyrim, and when they updated it, and I could tell a difference right away.
There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in this big packaging.
Hims took care of it. Fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever. Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/join to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to 4hims.
Have you ever won anything like that?
No. I don't think anything I've ever won. I've won drawings for like a 6-pack of beer here and there. Closest I ever come when I was in college at one of the basketball games. I got pulled to participate in a basketball musical chairs game where you like have to run, make a shot, come back, grab a chair, blah, blah, blah. And I won that. And then they told me to come back to another game a few weeks later for a chance to shoot for $100,000. And I was like, oh, okay. Half court shot, I guess. They don't tell me what the game is. So I get there. I got called out on the floor. This was for FSU Duke. Tucker Center is packed. They bring me out at halftime. I have to make a free throw or a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and a half-court shot in a row without missing in one 24-second shot clock. Hit the layup, hit the free throw, hit the three-corner, hit the freaking rim on the half-court, bounced it twice, and it came out. I was literally 1 inch right from getting $100,000. Closest I've ever been.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
I think
That's why you guys should hang out on the stream.
Okay, all right.
Or do you want me to tell it?
I do. Well, I mean, yeah, I think you should tell that.
So on the Facebook stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, Lonzo and I go live all 3 hours on our stream every day. Facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, Twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show, or search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. If you put the YouTube app on your TV, you can watch it on your TV like a real TV show. Anyway, Lonzo, our buddy Josh in the chat said that he was one of the people who won an Xbox One X from Taco Bell. Alonzo said, have you ever won anything like that? Have you ever won a big grand prize thing? I said, no, I have not. Like I've won, raffles for a 12-pack of beer or something. I said, but the closest I've ever come was when I was in college. I got my name picked out of the hat to play basketball musical chairs on the court at the school I was going to. And so it was like 10 people, and you had to make a shot and then run back and grab a chair, and they eliminated 2 people at a time, and it ended up being me and one other girl, and I won musical chairs. Excuse me. Put Alonzo there. So they said, come back next week. You have a chance to shoot for $100,000. And I thought to myself, all right, it must be one of those like make a half court shot, get $100,000 kind of situations. So I showed up, and it is a big conference game. Stadium is packed to the rafters. So I go to, they bring me down on the floor. I got floor-side tickets to the game. That was pretty rad. Halftime comes, like put on the t-shirt for the business sponsoring it, go out to the court. They don't tell me what I have to do in order to win $100,000. So they say to me, you have to make a layup, a free throw, a three-pointer, and a half-court shot without missing any of them, and you have to do it in one 24-second shot clock cycle. So I got 24 seconds to go layup, free throw, three-pointer, half-court shot. I got to make all 4 and do it in 24 seconds. Make the layup, make the free throw, hit the three-pointer, which is miraculous because I was never better than like a 28% three-point shooter. I was a big man. Make the three-pointer,
go out to half court, take my time, reset, shoot the three-pointer, or shoot the half-court shot with 2 seconds left. Iron, falls out. Missed it by an inch. 1 inch to the right, I went 100K. Closest I've ever been. The pain, I can still flash back and see that memory in my brain. Poor college kid would have had it made. That's it for us. That's the week. We're out. Have a great weekend. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Mark Ryan and Diesel up next with Offsides. We'll see you back here Monday to look back at the weekend that was on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Later, brother.
I got string cheese because I'm